What's up? I actually remembered to take off the music. I mean, to unmute myself this time. What's up, guys? I'm excited. Going back to Nuzlocke time. I know, imagine my star is a legendary. Exactly. Let me just, hopefully everything works well here. I want to be in the middle of the... There we go. I'm so short. Boop. No! The green screen is being a little bit... You see that? You see behind? I don't want you guys to see behind. Oh my god, so close. So close to perfection. But not perfect. Just like my life. Anyway. We're gonna start. And hopefully do amazing. I hope the starter is a legendary. Okay. Oh my god, that's annoying me, bro. Oh, that's so annoying me. How are you guys doing though? Look at that. Oh, it's so close to... Stupid green screen. Ow. Genshin music. No, it's still Pokemon music. Did I fix it? Yeah, we're just gonna... now it's worse. Oh my god. I tried to fix this before stream started. But I'm a loser. Oh my god. Is that good? Is that good? Among Us sus. You know what? Green screens are so annoying. I'll be right. Watch this. I'm gonna fix it. Oh my god. Come on, you stupid green screen. Work. Did it work? Did it work? No! Oh my god, it's so annoying. I'm trying to like make it perfect. At this point, I just want to take it out. Oh, Pokemon Emerald, starting it all over again. Okay. This looks mad cool. I know, right? Okay. Let's get started. I'm gonna increase the music just a little bit. Let me know if it's not loud enough, guys, and I'll fix it again. The green screen is almost perfect, but, you know, we'll do it like this. Oh, I'm playing with the controller, too, which is cool. New game. Let's go. This is also randomized, this Pokemon. Welcome to the world of Pokemon. Oh, look, it's a Poliwag. Boo! We want to see cooler Pokemon. More resolution options. Stream is lagging. I can't. Unfortunately, I can't make more resolution options. If we're on YouTube, then you guys would be able to change it. But it does say unstable. I'm assuming it's going to turn to normal soon. Sometimes it does that. Gomen nasai. Life is good. That's it. I'm going to be on the Pokemon grind. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I want to do a bunch of Nuzlockes, you know? Alright. What to name myself? I'm a boy, I think. PP Masters. PP... Will PP Masters fit, actually? PP... M-A-S-T... Oh, it doesn't fit. What if we just do Ping Pong? That doesn't fit. My name's too long. Go Pink. How about that? Pink. Pink sounds good. Let's go. Oh, let's go. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Get me there. Last time I tried this with Nick, I was getting owned. We'll see what happens this time. The first Pokemon I had, it was bad. Let's see who I get this time. My mom's such an asshole. She just waits in the house while I get out of a moving truck. We're here, honey. No, you've been here. Oh my god. Yes. You don't like art class? Let's go. Where's the mover? The mover's Pokemon are here, but where's the actual mover? And this guy's just moving a TV back and forth, bro. Oh, it's not even a TV. It's a storage box. The other one's humping a TV. Alright. What time is it? Let's actually try to put the actual... It's 9:36 p.m. right now. We gotta go... Hey, Craze, what's up? Hey! Oh, you changed your username? What's up, Dev? I have to draw a whole ass city. Sheesh. What's up? Let me go get a hat. I'll be right back. Bars. Oh, where's my hats? Yo! I want this. Not work, goop? Oh, it doesn't work? Rename? No, I know it's you, Dev. Awesome. Why'd you change your name? I actually like it like that. When there's less numbers, sometimes numbers are good, sometimes they're like not, you know what I mean? Alright, there we go. Does that look good, guys? Do I look sexy? How you doing, Craze? Oh, let's go. What time is it here? Let's see. Oh my god, I'm not on Wi-Fi. It's 9:37. Jesus. This is gonna take forever to put the time. Changed it yesterday to get rid of the number. Ah, nice. 9:37. Come on, clock. Disgusting. FNAF is disgusting. 9:35. Friday night at fun. What is it called? Five Nights at Freddy's? Yeah, I don't like that game. Boom! I think that's correct. It doesn't matter. Alright, Mom. Get me out of here. Yes, yes, yes. Get out of my room. Why do I have a carpet in the middle with, like, wood? I just realized how weird this house looks. Oh my god, Mom. Alright, let's see what we got in the PC. I think it could be anything. Oh no, it's just a potion. FNAF 4 ping. No, I don't want to play FNAF 4. Oh my god, Daddy. Daddy's not there. Yes, yes. Go away, Mother. What are you doing sitting at this table? There's literally nothing on it. And it has disgusting, like, table decor. I don't know what that is on the table. I was supposed to have running on. Oh, I guess I messed that up. Or maybe we'll get running later. I don't know. Alright, come on. I think I'm supposed to have running. I think I screwed it up. Bro, where's Oak? I mean, Birch. Yo, where's your boy? He's on field. I don't care about... Stop explaining me things. Ah. Ping, Daddy is Blaster. Yes, my daddy is Blaster. Blaster is awesome. Okay, what Pokemon am I gonna get? What do you want, woman? You're a little girl. Don't tell me how to live my life. Oh no, I forgot. I have to go talk to May. And she has a different name in this game, so let's see what her name's gonna be. You're our next door neighbor. Literally the only other house in the city. In the town. Let me touch her balls. I mean her ball. I'm May. Oh, her name is May. Alright, get out. I don't care. I've played this beginning so many times. What time is it for her? Oh my god, it's the same time. Okay. I can't steal any of her stuff, unfortunately. Check out my latest video! Alright, the moment of truth, where you guys can name the Pokemon, and we get to see what the first Pokemon is. Can you go see what's happening? She just told me not to go, and now she's telling me to go. Alright, let's see what our Pokemon's gonna be. Come on, Birch. Alright, let's see what we got. Charizard, Magby, and Mawile. Oh my god. What Pokemon should I pick, guys? Magby, Charizard, or Mawile? It's not laggy anymore? Awesome. Name it Daddy Blaster? Yeah, which one should I pick though, since it's the first one? Live Cold Pokemon, Flame Pokemon. It's called the Mawile's a Deceiver Pokemon? I didn't know that. If you got a Pikachu, name it Zappy. Alright, but we're not up to that. Wait, Magby, Charizard, or Mawile? I mean, obviously Charizard, right? What do you guys think? I'll follow what you guys think. Except probably not. I'll probably pick Charizard. Unless Middle Ball? Okay, well, that's Charizard. I'll take him. Charizard? This is gonna be too easy. We start off with a Charizard. But you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. It's a Zigzagoon. What if Charizard has no moves? It must have, like, Ember, right? Oh, okay, yeah. We're gonna own everything. Get out of here, Zigzagoon! Daddy Blaster is here. Okay. Remember, if a Pokemon dies, it dies forever. You're pink. Alright, we're gonna have to nickname him. And if I forget to nickname a Pokemon, it dies. I have to release it. Alright, come on. Yes! Charizard! Yeah, bro, it's a Charizard! Yes, let's give you a nickname. Daddy Blaster? I don't think that'll fit, but... Let's see. Yeah, it's not gonna fit. B-L-A... We could do Daddy Blast. We could do Daddy Blast. What do you think of that? Yes? Okay, Daddy Blast it is. Sorry, Blaster, your full name doesn't fit. Or it could just be Blaster. But we'll go with Daddy Blast. That sounds so weird. Let's go, Daddy Blast! We got Daddy Blast, baby. Yeah, I'll go visit me. I'm gonna beat the shite out of your child. Your granddaughter? Wait, is that his child or is... I don't remember. It's his granddaughter, right? Yes, haha. Why can't I run? Oh my god. I wanna run. He walks so slow. Alright. Bruh, indeed. Oh, no! Okay. So, since we don't have Pokemon yet, first encounters don't count until we get Pokeballs. Okay? Your connection sucks? Aw. Alright, see you, Craze. Sorry, bro. I don't know why. It says unstable from my point of view. Average stream bitrate too high. But the connection is good for you guys, right? For some of you guys. That sucks, though. Maybe if you come back in, it'll fix, like Mac was saying. Alright, since we can't catch a Pokemon yet, nothing counts until we get Pokeballs initially. But this might be our first encounter later. Okay! A Swellow? That's not bad. Obviously, that doesn't count for right now, but... Let's get some experience in with Daddy Blast. Daddy... I'm a freaking Charizard. A Swellow's not gonna kill me. I mean, I'm Daddy Blast. Oh, it's a guy, too. Oh, hell yeah, 69 XP. Let's go. Hell yeah. Now let's get out of the grass. I actually forgot where... Oh, I need to talk to her, right? Oh, no. I know what a Pokemart is. She's so useless. I don't remember. Oh, I'm supposed to verse May. That's what I'm supposed to do. Alright, let's train a bit. Yeah, let's train a bit. Actually, let's not train a bit. I feel like that would be cheating. But let's just train a little bit. Because, you know, we don't want to die right away with Charizard. That would be sad. How many people do you guys think will die this this stream? My guess is 0. All right. We're at 103, baby. Okay. We got a Venusaur. She's right there. Oh, well, she has a Magby or something else, right? My dad gave you a Pokemon. Let's see what happens. 5 or more? I think 0 are gonna die. At least the first time. Mawile. It's gonna take me Mawile to beat Mawile. I don't know. Alright, let's Ember you. Let's go! Oh, that did a lot of damage. Okay, you're dead. Easy, bro. We didn't even need to train Daddy Blast. Now we just need to get Pokeballs. Muck rip. What do you mean muck? There's no muck. Let's go! Level 8? Fan Jasmine. Her name is Fan Jasmine. Okay. Alright. Alright. I have a freaking Charizard. And you have a Mawile. That's so sad. Alright, let's get our Pokeballs back. Pilgrim? Do I look like a pilgrim? What's up, Emily? Is the stream connection okay for you? I know how to get back home, May. Oh, Mucker from the first Nuzlocke, yeah. Oh, I went in the grass by accident. Alright, let's get our balls right now. Why'd that guy move in my face? I want my balls now. Oh yes, give me my balls. I don't care about the Pokédex. It's good? Okay, awesome. Thank you. Oh my god, they talk so much in the beginning, I forgot. We got the balls! My balls didn't... Well, I guess my balls did drop, yeah. Alright, let's see what we're getting. We don't respond to them. They're losers. I think we could get running shoes for Mama. Mamacita, what you gonna give me? Yes. 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 Yes, mother, I love you. Look what you did for me. Oh my god. Oh, yes, I could run indoors now, too. Hell yeah, look how much faster. Alright, our first Pokemon. Let's see what our first Pokemon is gonna be. Is it gonna be a Swellow? Oh, Pidgeot? What is this? Oh my god. What a great... Oh, but 2 flying Pokemon. That's gonna be scary. Alright, let's throw our balls at it. A, B, A, B, A, B. Come on, Pidgeot. It's wow if I catch it, though. Oh, come on, Pidgeot. No! Should I attack it? I'm scared. Oh, if I kill it, it's done. I'm level 8. Oh, no. I'm gonna try one more Pokeball. Please don't miss. If I don't catch it, I can't catch it. If I run out of Pokeballs, it's over. Let's go. Oh my god, are you serious? Come on, Pokeball. Come on. A, B, 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 A, B. Come on. No! Come on! Oh, last try. If it doesn't catch it, that would be so annoying. I could try to scratch it, but it's a level 3. Come on. Alright, last Pokeball. A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B. Come on. Oh, you freaking fascist. Oh my god. Is Scratch even gonna kill it? Yeah, it's too late. Oh my god, I could have scratched it. We're running away. Oh my god, I could have scratched it and then I could have attacked it and then caught it. God. Oh. A Bannet? Jesus, imagine catching a level 2 Bannet. I'm an idiot, it's fully evolved. Of course it wouldn't die to scratch. Oh, whatever. So now we officially cannot catch a Pokemon in the first route. Yeah, I think that was a Bannet, the next Pokemon there. I don't want to train Charizard too high, so we're going to try to catch Pokemon in the next route. Since this is the... What is this? Route 101. We're going to try in Route 102 now? 3? Yeah, Route 103. What are we going to get? What are we going to get? Oh my god, Vaporeon! No way! We have to name him Supez. I forgot balls! No! I forgot balls! I forgot to buy balls! No, I'm an idiot! Oh my god. Oh. What's up, Sleepy? Oh my god. Yeah, thanks, Nathan. You sent it like a second too late. Do I have money even? Oh my god. How you doing, Sleepy? Penis balls. Oh. Okay, Route 102, my last chance to catch a Pokemon. And such amazing Pokemon, too. Watch it be like a Zigzagoon. A Chansey? Oh, that's so good. Oh my god. I don't think I'll ever die with the Chansey on me. Oh! Oh my god. Okay. We got a Chansey, boys. Boys and girls. What do we name it? Oh. Let's go! What do we name the Chansey? Oh, this is great. I don't know how we're getting so lucky with Pokemon. You guys name the Pokemon, so if I'll take a bunch of suggestions and I'll pick the one that I like most. Dick and Dolls. No, I'm not gonna do that. It's not even long enough to do that. It's gonna be on YouTube, so it has to be, you know, friendly for YouTube. Should I name him 1 HP or her? It's a Whammon also. Well, we got Daddy Blast. We could do Woman Blast. Or Girl Blast. I don't think Woman Blast would... Mommy Blast? What about Mommy Blast? Oh. Let's see. I'll wait for suggestions, but for now I'll put in Mommy Blast. Wife Blast? But then we had Daddy Blast, so it should be Mommy Blast. Because it's Mommy and Daddy. I like Mommy Blast. We're gonna go with Mommy Blast. She blasts the enemies away. Okay, cool. Since no one else really gave suggestions. I mean, Nathan, you did. But yeah, I like Mommy Blast better than Wife Blast. Hell yeah! Okay, let's go heal Mommy before she dies. We don't want Mommy Blast to die. But we're actually building up a team. This team's looking good. To be fair, if we got Pidgeot, it wouldn't have been that balanced. And Vaporeon is not, like, amazing. Blissey is really good, from my understanding. So Blissey and Charizard seems really cool. We do want to get some, the Blast family is growing. Yeah, they're all going to be Blasts, it looks like. Alright, we might... I don't want to risk it, actually. I don't want to... Yeah, I don't want to risk it, so we're going to have Daddy in the front. We have no idea what his first Pokemon could be, so... Imagine it's a Blastoise. Like a level 8 Blastoise or something. Poochyena, let's go! What a sucky suck. It should be randomized. So it's kind of weird if Poochyena was randomized. Ooh! Oh, I thought Howl brings out the other guy. I'm surprised Puchiana was randomized. Let's go. Elite Trainer Mike, you're just a little kid. Little kid loser over here. Alright, we're gonna get Mommy Blast in the front. Sister Blast, Brother Blast, Child Blast. Yeah. The genders have to be right too, though, right? Alright, what do we got? Oh my god! I wish this was the first... This is better than you, Mommy Blast. No offense. Oh, don't tell me it's gonna have a dragon move. Oh, rap, okay. I can't catch it, though. It's in the same... It's in Route 102, so I can't catch it. PP Blast. Pound doesn't do that much. I might lose this battle. I could use a potion, but I don't know if it's worth it. I want Mommy Blast to level up, though. She's so weak. Okay, Dratini's not doing anything. We're looking fine here. Yo, Sai, what's up? I know it's a Dratini, but we can't catch it because we already caught Mommy Blast on this route. No! Oh my god, that did so much damage because of the Leer. Yeah, we're changing out. Nope, nope. Huh? Oh, she can't be switched because of the wrap. No, don't die. Oh, that would have sucked if she died. That's it? Stupid mommy, you didn't even get enough to level up. Nah, she's okay, though. How you doing, Sai? We're doing Pokemon Nuzlocke here, baby. I'm gonna take off this hat since Crazy's in here, and it feels weird on my head for some reason. There we go. And you guys could see my beautiful, luscious hair now. Been good? Hell yeah. Ah! It's not what I meant to do. That's awesome to hear. Oh my god. Alright. Should we verse the second trainer? We're gonna verse the second trainer with Daddy Blast. Our eyes met! Steps as boss, yeah. Let's see what you're gonna have. Schoolgirl Jasmine. A Growlithe? That's pretty cool. Look at that sprite, bruh. Oh, it intimidates me. Level 4. That's kind of nasty. We're gonna scratch your face off. No! You fascist! Mommy is not ready to fight, okay? Unless your only move is Roar, then Mommy is ready to fight. Fight! 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 Mommy's too weak. Oh, Bite would have hurt Mommy. Alright, scratch him. Ooh, let's go. Scratch him, baby. Oh, yes, level 9. Let's go! Mommy's level 4. Butterfree. Doesn't fire destroy Butterfree? So we're gonna have Mommy Blast for some XP right now. Kill Daddy Blast. I don't want him to die. I don't want anyone. No one's gonna die, okay, this round. You see that skull to the left of me? And that it says 0? It's just gonna say 0 the whole game. Alright? That's how boring it's gonna be. It's always gonna say 0, because no one's ever gonna die. Confusion? Why do you have Confusion? Well, it didn't do much, but Jesus, that's a strong move for a level 4. That's kind of scary. Kill Dog Blast? I hope you're right. Aw, thank you. I hope I'm right, too. Let's go, Mommy! Tail Whip. That's fine, I guess. Get out of here, Jasmine. Stupid girl. Alright, this one doesn't fight you. I think... Okay, there's no potions here either. Ah! I didn't mean to go through that. I don't know if I should go back... Kadabra? What are these wild Pokemon? Jesus. Okay, Daddy... you know what? Let's get some experience, Daddy Boss. Why not? Ember the hell out of it. Huh? No. Confusion is such a scary move because it could confuse you. Drug Addiction Blast. I don't know if we'll catch that many Pokemon. Nah, we probably will. Let's go, Daddy Blast. Level 10, baby. He's gonna evolve. Did you just become a trainer? I'm not a beginner. Okay, I've been playing this game before you were born. Elite Trainer Pansy. Venusaur! Get out of here! Perfect! Perfection! Oh my god. I'm so happy you have a Venusaur with a stupid face. Oh my god, look at that XP. Jesus! Probably because it was fully evolved. A ride on my butt. Oh, ride on could be scary, actually. Do we take the risk? Or do we get mommy out here? Let's get mommy out here. I don't know what level this ride on is. Ride on could be very scary, actually. Level 3, okay. It shouldn't be too bad. Oh wait, a pound wouldn't do anything. Ah, horn attack. Daddy, are you gonna be okay with a horn attack? Yeah, it's a randomizer Nuzlocke. Look at the title, bro. He has Stomp. Oh, what annoying moves. Oh god. Maybe I should smoke screen him. Oh, never mind. Ember does enough. Oh, he has... Oh, what an annoying poke. I wish I had that ride on. Jesus, stop attacking me. Oh my god. Don't take it. Let's go. Get out of here, Rhydon. Rhydon my... Let's go, mommy. Rhydon my dick. I called you because I thought I could beat you. Because you're a loser. You're not even an elite trainer. Get out of my face. Let's get some berries. Oh, that was actually kind of scary. And that was only the first route. The Pokemon so far are not that bad level-wise. So that's why we're doing okay. We get them berries. This just goes back. Are there any... Oh, this stupid trainer. I forgot about her. Ah! No, why'd you turn around? Oh, I did not expect her to turn around. I forgot she turns around. I didn't realize she turns around at that angle. She's kind of cute. Fan Veronica. Ooh, she's a friend of me. Shermish. Oh, it's gonna be fine. We got frickin' Daddy Blast over here. Alright. I got a message from Mother. My mother is like... And I'm like, okay. Alright, Daddy, we're doing good. Ludicolo. Let's go with all these grass sucks. Please have only grass type. Yeah, thankfully we're good. It's a level 4. We have a potion too, but... Oh yeah, he's not a grass. Imagine he crit that. That would have sucked. Okay, we're fine. These guys suck, we're fine. Let's go! Get out of my face, Fan Veronica. I ended up furthering your career. Alright, there is a... Should I take the risk and go for that? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Dive Ball. I don't want to step on any of the stuff here. Ah! Oh my god! Why is there a Nidoqueen? Please let me run away. I just want to run away. Don't attack me. Don't attack me. Okay, thank god. I know it's only a level 3, but it could have insane moves. Why did I run through there? I'm freaking... Jesus, going crazy. Alright, let's see. Whew, we're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good. We have fascinating, fantastical Pokemon, so we should be good. I mean, I do want to train her a bit more. I feel like Daddy is insanely powerful already. Just because he's a freaking Charizard. But, yeah. Do we have to talk to Daddy? I think we have to talk to Daddy. Oh, we don't need to talk to Daddy. He's just chilling. He never visits home. He's just standing in front of his gym. Bro, oh my god. I know everything about it. Alright, get out of my face. Ugh, I have to talk to Daddy. Okay. Let's talk to Daddy. What's up, Daddy? You're finished. Oh, you're with your Pokemon. Oh my god. Oh, this is... We have to watch Wally. Let's see what Pokemon Wally's gonna catch, actually. I don't think it stays with him the way it works, but let's just see what he catches. Imagine he catches like a Rayquaza or something. Oh wow, a Zigzagoon. Yeah. Let's go. I hope you catch a Rattata. Actually, I want it to be challenging. I hope he catches a Charizard. That would be kind of funny. Pokemon hide in tall grass. Yes, this is common sense. Oh, okay. He gets his Gardevoir. Reggie Ice? He borrowed a Reggie Ice with 5 tackles left from my dad to attack a Curlia. Bro, if I was Wally, I would just steal the Reggie Ice and run away. Because it's random, that's why. He doesn't keep the Reggie Ice. But does that mean my dad is going to have a Reggie Ice when I battle him? Huh. Well, at least we know he's going to keep the Gardevoir, just like in the real game. In the real game? Yeah. Come on, bro. Catch it faster. Why is his hair green? And it's like a nasty green, too. It's not... Oh, because this game is called Emeralds. Maybe that's why. I think so. Yeah, I think so, too. I think he's going to keep it. Alright. Wait, now his hair is brown. It makes no sense. Alright. Let's go back to the gym, Wally. Did it work out? This is my favorite gen, partially because my character's hair has white hair. My character's hair has white hair. My character has white hair, which is really cool to me. Alright, get out of my face. We have to battle Roxanne. Roxanne! It's a beautiful song. Alright. By the way, Oh, Scott. I forgot about Scott. That's a hat? Wait, really? That's not his hair? I always thought it was his hair. Alright, get out of my face, Scott. He's so savage. Alright. By the way, we could come back here later to catch Pokemon in Petalburg City. So that's cool. Alright, next route, next Pokemon. Yes, yes, yes. Get out of my face. Who will we catch? The third party member. Makuhita. Wow. Memories, guys? Memories? From the last Nuzlocke? I don't know how much I want you. When he evolves, he's pretty cool, though. Oh, God. He's gonna crit hit me next. With a tackle? Oh, okay, we're fine. This Makuhita sucks. He has black hair? Oh. Yeah, I'm not gonna kill him. I'm not gonna kill him. I just don't want to waste my balls, you know? My precious balls. Come on. What are we naming him, boys? Let's go. First try. Should we pay homage to the last Nuzlocke run? Where his name was Maku? Or should we just name him, like, part of the Blasts? Because we have everyone named Blast right now. We got Daddy Blast, Mommy Blast. This could be Sun Blast. Or he could just be Sun. I kind of want to just name him Sun. I'll wait 30 seconds for ideas. Otherwise, I'm naming him Sun. What's up, Cortez? How are you, bro? Doing a Pokemon Nuzlocke right now. What should we name Makuhita, bro? And how are you doing? I'm thinking Sun. So far, we got Daddy Blaster and Mommy Blaster. Muck Blast? Muck Blast. Akuna Matata? Akuna Matata. Oh, that might actually fit. Akuna Mata. No, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. Akuna Mata. Muck Blast, I feel like, doesn't really like, I don't like it. I like Sun. Like, imagine just saying, Sun! No! Akuna Matit. Akuna Matit. Oh, that fits. If there's no space. Don't actually do that? Okay. We're gonna go with Sun. We had Daddy Blaster, Mommy Blaster, so I just felt like it's natural to go with Sun. Mommy Blast, Daddy Blast, and Sun. Because when he dies, when he dies, foreshadowing, we could be like, no, Sun! Because he's gonna die. Akuna Matit sounds cool, though, too, to be honest. Ugh. I like thematic names, though, since we got Daddy Blaster and Mommy Blaster right now. But I do want you guys to name Pokemon as well. Okay. Let's go with Sun. Let's see what happens. Don't foreshadow it. Alright. Let's see. Do we want you to train? You're not a trainer, so get the hell out of my face. You're a trainer. And I think they're trainers. We could just skip them. She's not a trainer. She's a loser. Let's get our berries, and then we'll fight those two trainers in the bottom. Hopefully no one dies. I love this game's art style. Oh yeah, me too. This is my favorite game for multiple reasons. It's just such a beautiful game. My favorite color used to be green. It's arguably blue now, but green, I love green. It's like unique, I feel. Verse me. There we go. And yeah, this whole theme is like green. There's so much green in this game. Elite Trainer Antonite. Jesus, why do you have an ice Pokemon on the beach? Let's go, son. Punch him in the face, son. Tackle him to the ground, son. I don't know how much damage you're gonna do. Okay, get back in, son. You suck. Actually, I believe in you, son. Powder Snow. Is that gonna... Son, don't die. Son. Oh! Alright, son. We're going back. We're going back in the house. You're a loser. We're gonna have Daddy take care of this. Ice on my daddy. Oh, no. It's not gonna do much, right? Yeah. Oh, that did a lot less than I thought. Get the hell out of here, Snorunt. You're an ice Pokemon, and I have fire. Freaking, the starter is Charizard. Isn't that crazy? Alright, Poliwrath. That's kind of annoying. Poliwrath. It's your time to shine, Mommy. Daddy protected son. Now Mommy gotta do the same. By protecting Daddy. Oh, she's so sexy. Okay, let's just... Oh my god, he's so strong. Ah! Why do you have that move? No! Mommy! That was way too soon. It's not even been an hour. Oh my god. Well, Daddy, you know what to do. Ember's... Why'd I do Ember? Oh my god, that would have been so bad. What is this Poliwrath? Oh, no. No! No! Oh. I'm so stressed. Freaking goddamn, bro. I hate you, you little child. Pink's IQ decreased. I love how you have to sit. No. This is a cruel world. Fire versus water. I had no other choice. But Charizard survived. Thank God. Chansey. Chansey. It's been a short ride. But it looks like Dad's getting divorced pretty quickly. No, Dad lost his wife. Dad lost his wife. I'm sorry, Mommy. Goodbye. Such a cruel world out here. Oh my god. This game is so savage. Jesus Christ. Fuck the child. Oh, the child is still alive. The child's gonna grow up without a mother. Hopefully we get a stepmom. Oh god. Oh. Well, we definitely gotta train son. Because we're gonna get owned if we don't train. We can't even verse the next trainer. Jesus. If they have a water Pokemon, we're screwed. A Growlithe, okay. Son, do everything I've taught you and win this battle. You're a loser, son. Oh my god. I didn't expect it to be so quick. Oh. Okay, okay. This Pokemon's gonna be super annoying, I already know. It's gonna use poison powder or something. But we need Sun to get some, like, actual fighting moves. Right now it's pretty much useless with the tackle. So Daddy's gonna have to do a lot. Oh. Do a lot more work here. Come on, Daddy. You gotta clutch it for us. Thank God we got our beefy, sexy daddy. Protecting the family, bro. Let's go. We need Sun to grow, to live, to experience the world. Why you gotta pin him up against his own brother? Disgusting. His sister. Twin sister. Jesus, what a cruel world we live in. But we're gonna kill her. Because she means nothing. Alright, what do we kill her with? Yeah, we're killing her. She means nothing to us. You mean nothing. You're the reason that mother died. Except not really. Should I have... Oh my god, she's so good too, bro. Like, she's supposed to have so much HP, and she just gets demolished, but she gets submissioned into death. Oh my god. The sad thing is we can't even fight duplicates. Gulpin? Gulpin. Oh. Let's see, Son, can you handle this by yourself? Can you get the experience? Can you actually be useful? You know what? We're gonna fight. Because I believe in you, Son. I believe in you like no one else in your life has. Except Mother, who had to die when you were only 5 years old. Jesus, Mother only died when he was 5 years... Don't kill. Oh my god, Son. If that was a critical hit, I would have cried. I would have actually cried. Good win, Son. Mom would be proud. Let's go heal your ass. I do have potions! I forgot to use my potions. Mother could have survived. Oh no, Mother died in one hit. Never mind. Mother got demolished. Mother got demolished. I have like 2 potions, but I guess it's easier than running back here, but I'm saving it for the next... Mother just got demolished. Mother was like... Mother got submissioned into death. No way to save, exactly. Alright, once he gets a level or 2 up, we're gonna fight... Jesus! How much of your family do you have to decimate? This is like the worst route ever. It's only like the 4th route. Stop focusing your energy on me. That gives critical hits higher percentage, right? Or something. How'd you miss? Thankfully, the wild Pokemon's an idiot. Yeah, your family is idiotic, Son. It's good you're under our wings now. One more hit. One more hit. Okay, you're good. We're not gonna go heal for 3 health. Alright, Son? Evolve. I mean, level up. You're useless. It's okay. Alright. I think this is a double battle. I don't want to do this. Oh no, it's the same. It's not a double battle. Oh. Alright, let's see what you got, baby. A Pidgeot? Yeah, son, you're not ready for this. Get the hell out of there. Daddy's gonna take over, okay? What a scary run this would be. We're gonna do hardcore Nuzlocke in the future, too. Where it's even harder. For now, we're just doing regular because I suck so much. Oh. Pidgey is so... Oh! It's okay, it's okay. We got potions. Oh, let's go. Get out of my face, you Pidgeot. Let's go, son. Let's go. Daddy? Oh my god. Get out of my face. Yeah, he said, what the... I know. Why do I have like a level 10 Charizard? I agree. What the hell? Alright. What a loser. I'll still fight you. I love how you have to say daddy so many times. That's his name. Alright, what do you got? An Aerodactyl? Oh my god. Son, you're out. Oh, I should use a potion. You're only level 7 though, so you're not gonna do anything to Daddy, right? What move you got? Wing attack? That's a strong move. Oh, never mind. Ember is... Yeah, I was gonna say Ember is either super effective or does like nothing. I don't remember. Okay, we're healing. We're healing. That looks so scary. Jesus. Oh, we have berries too, so it should be okay. Okay. Stop wing attacking me. Jesus, that does so much damage. I'm gonna scratch you. Oh, that does even worse. Oh my god, stop it! Okay, I don't think 27 damage even with a crit, right guys? I'm gonna Ember and then use a potion. Oh, maybe I should have healed. Oh, okay. Oh, this game's so scary. Oh my god, he's not even full health. What? You have a full restore? What's wrong with you? Oh, I should use smoke screens at this point. Oh, never mind. We're good. Let's go. Critical hit, baby. Imagine he crit back. Let's go. Oh my god. Thank god. Jesus, that was so... Level 10? Let's go. Arm thrust. You're actually useful now. Didn't take too long, so I'm kind of proud of him. Servant Max. Go serve your person. We're gonna heal. And possibly buy potions. We're about to go into the forest. Get ready to think of some names. Some thematic names for Sun. If it's a girl, I'm just saying it now. If it's an adult woman that we catch, we're most likely gonna name her Stepmom or something. Because Mommy Blaster died. Or something, so we'll see what happens. Imagine Stepmom makes it throughout the whole game. That would be so awesome. Alright. Do we buy... Yeah, let's buy 1 or 2 potions. Let's buy 4 potions. It's a scary world out there. Let's buy 5 potions. It's a nice number. In case we run into a legendary, let's buy some more Pokeballs. Yeah, that should be good. MILF Blast. MILF Blast. That would be interesting. Mommy died, yeah! She got one-shot by submission by a freaking Poliwrath. If we see a Poliwrath, I'm not catching it. Mostly because it's probably going to sweep my team. No, I'm joking. That was an accident. Oh, a Sparrow. What a dumb Pokemon. It looks like it has lipstick on. Yeah. On other news, Sun learns Arm Thrust, which is pretty cool. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, you only hit twice? You're a loser, Son. Hopefully it gets to like level 10 and a half. I don't want to over level also. You know what I'm saying? So it's more interesting and so we could catch more Pokemon essentially. Oh, that gave like no XP. Alright, new route. New Pokemon. Let's go Pidgeot Woods right here. What are we gonna get? I don't know if I want that. We already have Charizard. Do we really need a Slugma? If you survive this, I'll catch you. You have Flame Body. And I guess I'll catch you. What are we naming Slug? I feel like Stepbro is good. Yeah, we're gonna go with thematic stuff. We're gonna go... because we're a family here, alright? Let's go! First try. What's up, Dino? Randomized Nuzlocke, baby. Why I gotta burn my boy, though? What are we naming you? Stepbro Blast. That's not gonna fit. How you doing, Dino? Stepbro... Yeah, that's not gonna fit. Step Blast. Bro Blast? Step Blast. Step Blast? Has to be thematic. I want to call you what they call cigarettes in Britain. It didn't let you. What is that? A cunt? Is that what they call cigarettes in Britain? I know they say that in Australia a lot. Let's go with Step Bro. Step Blast. Step Blast. Yeah, Step Blast. The other ones don't have spaces though, so do we give him a space? He's special. He's getting a space. Oh, a fascist? Do they actually call that in Britain? Do they actually use that word? Step Blast, baby. Oh, Step Blast. I don't care for you, but hopefully you'll be useful later. If I find out that Step Blast kills my boy, because he's getting burned every second, you have 31 health. Every move, he gets burned, right? Is that true, or am I, like, dumb? Oh, no. He's not getting burned. Wait, he doesn't get burned? He's still alive? Oh, I thought it does damage every second. Getting back to work. Have a nice stream. Alright, see you, Dinel. Mwah. May you enjoy work, and may Jesus be with you. Or Moses. I thought he loses... I guess only poison loses... That reminds me, I'm probably gonna have to buy, like, healing stuff for poison stuff. Oh, so no one dies. Freaking Slugma. I don't need Slugma. Slugging my balls in his mouth. That's what I'm doing. I don't need him. So, hopefully, Charizard doesn't die. So I don't get forced to use him. We'll keep him in the party for now, obviously, in case anything happens. But, yeah. Let's buy some of this, too. We'll buy one of these. Nuts. Orange mail. And where's Antidote? Antidote is like the most important, and it costs the cheapest, which is so weird to me. Yeah, that looks good now. Let's go. We're making decent progress, guys and gals. Whoo, decent progress. We caught a stupid Slugma in the forest, no worries. Now we just gotta... Oh, we gotta verse some strong trainers up here. I just remembered. Before we do that, let's verse this guy. Every move in a battle, he loses HP. Yeah, I thought that, but I didn't... Oh, every move in a battle, yeah. That's true. Yeah, that would be annoying. That's why I have to go back to heal. And buy potions, because I don't want to go back every second, you know? 4 Pokemon! Jesus. Thankfully, they're low level. Oh, is he gonna poison me? Oh, no! That's super effective, right? On fighting. We actually need Daddy in here. Jesus, I almost made a huge mistake. Oh, God. What an annoying Pokemon. Just die, please. Okay, thank God. That would have been annoying. Electabuzz. Electric doesn't beat fighting, right? What does Makuhita get owned by? Flying, right? I kind of forget the rest. Electabuzz. That's a fully evolved Pokemon, though, so we're going to keep Daddy out here for now. Hopefully it doesn't get electrocuted. Oh, you got a quick attack, you piece of shite. Hey, let's go. We have 4 Pokemon, but they're all level suck. Makuhita! Let's see how Sun does against his family members. What does he have? He's a level 3. I feel like Arm Thrust fighting on fighting is not good, right? Alright, let's go. I'm gonna train our son a little more. The good thing about having Step... What's his name again? I already forgot. Vileplume. Vileplume is grass, but can I could use fighting to beat it, right? Right, guys? Or does poison beat... I don't remember. Let's look it up. Makuhita weaknesses. It's worth looking up. Psychic, Fairy, and Flying. Okay, Psychic, Fairy... So poison is not a weakness. I don't know why I thought poison was a weakness. We'll keep him out. Oops. We'll keep him out. He should be fine. I'm believing in you, son. I'm believing in you. It's only a level 3. Oh, I'm an idiot. I was confused with super effective and the opposite. You have Absorb? Jesus, why'd you crit hit that? That's okay, you're a level 3. We're gonna get our tackle on that. You're a loser. Oh god. No, 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 no. Okay, okay, okay. Son, you still suck. I thought you were better. You actually still suck. I didn't want to leave everything to Daddy Blast, but oh yeah, absorb what? 2 HP off me? 1 HP, what a loser. Alright, we're gonna burn you to smithereens. Let's go. Use Step Blast? I don't want to use Step Blast. We have Daddy Blast. Step Blast is honestly just there in case Daddy Blast dies. I shouldn't have said that in front of him. Like, we already have a fire guy, you know? I want to see what other Pokemon we could get. Oh, wait. I'm an idiot. This is... Oh, there's like a TM here or something, right? I don't remember. Oh, I know now. This is the area where the other trainers are. Yo, what's up, girl? Oh. A soda pop. Soda poppin'? That heals HP, so that's good. Move! You whamming. Oh, we're gonna go back. We kind of wasted that. I mean, not wasted. We got the TM. And we skipped the grass again, so... What do we got? What do we got? Makuhita? Ooh! A Staryu. You see, this would be a useful Pokemon to catch. At least it's a water type. You see 3 of messages in chat with the same words? Okay. Let's see how much... Ooh, you're hardening. Let's see how much Arm Thrust will do. I feel like it won't do much. It's not bad. I was excited to get the fighting move, but... Fighting beats normal and some other stuff, right? Reversing a Staryu. That's non-gendered, apparently. I didn't know Staryus are non-gendered. Alright, not bad. Hey, I'm gonna prepare a potion because I actually want him to get some fighting in. And, Step Blast is just there. I don't care for him right now. This could be really bad right here. Let's go.
I was gonna ambush you, but you had to dwaddle forever. So here I am. Hand over those papers.
Alright, what do you have? Can I fight you already? Alright, what is it gonna have? First of all, what are Team Aqua members gonna be called? Ace Trainer Rachel. What a beautiful Rachel. A Metapod. Okay. Arm Thrust should be doing very bad. I don't know why I used it. I'm gonna have to tackle him to oblivion. I really don't want to do that. He's only gonna have Harden, right? Oh my god. Alright. This is a time where you just gotta change. It would take... Technically, it would be good here if I would want to train Step Blast. To use Step Blast against Metapod. But, nah, we're just gonna demolish him right here. Right here and here. Imagine we didn't pick Charizard. Probably would have lost by now. Hey, get out of here, Metapod. Which 3 words do you see, by the way, Nathan? 69, let's go. You're kidding me, you're tough. Well, you have a Metapod. Alright, get out of my face. Alright, now I think he gives me a potion or Great Ball. I think, yay, let's go. How do I remember that? So he gives me a Great Ball and then he just runs away. Get out of my face. Thank you. Alright, let's see. This girl's probably gonna be tougher than the Team Aqua guy. Let's see what she has or he. Schoolgirl Marilyn. Ooh, look like This is the good reason why we're training Sun and not like Slugma, not Step Blast. Oh my god. It's only level 6, but it's a freaking Blastoise. Please don't kill Sun. Oh, thank god. You're a loser that has Tail Whip. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Whoa, that's a lot of XP. It's gonna be level 13. Oh. Whalmer. Why do you have such water Pokemon? You're a bug catcher schoolgirl, Marilyn. Your life makes no sense. Okay, this should be fine. I don't think Whalmer... He has high HP, I think? Oh, never mind. But he can't really... He has no moves, right? Yeah, we're fine. This should be easy. Let's go. Oh, hell yeah. Vital Throw. Okay, that's actually a good move. Yeah, we'll take out Focus Energy. I feel like I'm never gonna use it. Sheesh. Yo, Aqua, what's up? Every time I try to join now, you end stream. Aw, I'm sorry. Well, you joined this time. Are you more busy nowadays? I've just been more guard spec. I've been kind of like concentrating on other stuff, I guess, and like trying to decide what to do with the channel. And I kind of decided to make like Pokemon Nuzlocke my thing. I can't stay for long, no worries. Yeah, it's awesome seeing you, Aqua. How are you doing? But yeah, I've been streaming less often, and I stream only Tuesday, Thursdays now, and the occasional like weekend. I've been concentrated more on YouTube essentially. That's why, and trying to up my graphics and like different stuff. But I think I'll be streaming this game and streaming Pokemon Nuzlocke more often from now on, and still doing some community games. That's what I want the channel to be like for now. What new content do you have on YouTube? Oh! I just realized this is a new route. So it's a Gulpin. That's so sucky. We're gonna catch it though. We might actually use him. Jesus. Barely survived. Let me check one moment. Okay. Yeah. Check, let me know what you think. Well, I mean, yeah. Alright. I think we could catch this. What are we naming Gulp? Oh, come on, Gulpin. Go into my ball. What are we gonna name her? Gulpin? You're a Gulpin, and I'm trying to catch you. Get in my ball. You should feel grateful. There we go. Jesus. Third time's the charm, I guess. What are we naming her? This team's looking worse and worse by the minute. Gulpin evolves into Swalot, right? I don't know how good Swalot is. I don't think I've ever really used Swalot. Hey! Angel, what's up? Jared, what's up? How you guys doing? Thank you very much for the raid. Arigatou gozaimasu. I haven't seen you in a minute. I'm doing a Pokemon Nuzlocke. That's my thing right now. Yeah, what's up? Excuse me. I'm trying to name this Gulpin. Technically, we gotta name her Mommy Blaster. Or Stepmom. We gotta name her Stepmom. Because the mom died. But yeah, what's up? Yeah, it has been. I miss you. Aw, I miss you too, baby. But you spelled my name wrong, so I don't know how much I miss you anymore. Okay. Oh, you were playing Just Chatting? I heard that game is great. Alright, let's name her Stepmom. Was it Stepmom? No. Yeah, Stepmom. Stepmom. You're a beautiful stepmom. Stepmom. Daddy remarried after mommy died. Alright, join the team, mommy. Hey, contributing to the goal, nice. Rave reviews, but yeah, it's a nightmare. So what have you been up to? What have you been up to? A Rost Bear. I thought that said a rare candy. I was so excited for a second. We could catch a Pokemon here, right? It is a new route, right? I'm not just retarded, right? Let me see. No, it's part of the last route. I'm stupid. It's part of... I think it's part of the last route. Wait, am I stupid? Could I not have caught this Pokemon? Where does it doesn't it show the... Oh, met at level 5, Petalburg Woods. Met at Route 104, 101. Yeah, I couldn't catch him. Her. I wasted 3 balls on you. And I gotta release you now. Oh my god. I'm such an idiot. My IQ drops. School, extra work on a TV show. Hey, nice. A bunch of music, streaming the usual. Hell yeah. You got 3 balls, eh? Hell yeah, baby. I got 3. Jesus, look at Gulpin's sprite. Aw, doctor. I am whiny, I'm sorry. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you. I should make the... I didn't want it to get in the way of the... I should make the alerts bigger. That's my bad. I'll fix that for next stream, guys. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for subscribing, Doctor. And thank you, Trisket, for rating. What's up, guys? I'm back. What's up, guys? It's Ping Pong Monsters. What's up, bro? How you doing, Doctor? I was crying because you weren't here. I don't know how you read my mind, but you read it. How you doing, Angel? Why stepmom has a big mouth? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Gulpin has a huge mouth, bro. That's why we're getting rid of her. That's actually not why. We're getting rid of her because I'm stupid and I couldn't... Ah! I have a lot of money. Alright, bro. Jesus. What an asshole. His name's not even Rich Boy. He's a bug catcher. He's an unknown. What a loser. Tax the rich. Yeah, like, if the rich always, like, said, I have a lot of money, then I'll slap them in their face, bro. Oh. That was a dumb move. Watch this unknown just kill my son right now, somehow. Well, it's not my son, but... Don't kill me. Oh, that did, like, nothing. The subscriber song. Hell yeah. Did you see AOC's dress? Nope. Oh, is that what it said? Text the rich. Nice editing. I was watching the dye my hair video. Are you glad the natural strands are returning? Honestly, I like it like tips. I like it like this kind of. I know it's weird, but I like just the blue and red on the side. Like, if I could just dye this part, I would like it. Everything was too much, I feel like. But this, I feel like it adds some cool, like, thing, you know? I don't know. You're watching the dye my hair video? Oh, yeah. Yeah. My friends are interesting. A lot of people like that video, though. Why couldn't I win? Because you can't just throw money at every problem. Okay, guys? Money doesn't solve everything. It solves only happiness and every financial problem you have, but it doesn't solve everything. Look at the education system in America. We gotta try harder. This guy thinks money solves everything. There are some things money can't... Well, no, money can buy Pokemon, so he's wrong there. It looks dope as... Right? I like how it looks now. I don't miss the Pokemon ball hair. Oh, I kind of miss it, but I like this a lot. The best pair of the video was the dog. Why don't we get more dog cameos? Was my dog in that video? I don't even remember that. I don't know. My dog used to come here more often, but he doesn't anymore. He hates us.
Should I or shouldn't I?
You already made eye contact. We'll have to battle, you stupid. She's so dumb. I mean, Fan Webster is so dumb. Best part. Money can't buy these nuts. You'd be surprised. You know what nuts? You know what testicles are in Japanese? It's kin... What is it? Kinkaku, I think? Or kintaku? I forgot. It doesn't matter. The point is, it's literally gold balls. So technically you could buy it in Japan. Oh no! Doesn't Psychic kill my son? Doesn't Psychic kill my son? Guys, Psychic kills fighting, right? Do I take the risk? Nah, I'm not gonna die. I'm level 13. Oh, okay, we're fine. Nah, we're fine, Nathan. No worries. Kogan? What's Kogan? What, are you gonna make a joke? Kogan balls in my butt or something? Thank you, though. Have you been playing Mario Kart? Jared? Keen... Is that in Chinese? What is it in Korean? Do you know? Testicles. What's up, Spicy? Long time no talk. Just kidding. I was neglecting games outside of streaming the last 2 weeks. Gotcha. Yeah, I wanted to jump in on one of your streams recently, but I haven't. I see you've been streaming quite a bit. I haven't been streaming much, unfortunately. Arm thrust is not very effective. How is it doing damage? Thank you, Nathan. Let's go! Bilal. That's in Korean. Is that testicles or like just balls? Or I feel like we're talking about this too much. Hi, I'm new. No, you're not. Let's go. Level 14. You know what that means. He's one level higher. That's pretty much all that means.
I shouldn't have battled.
You shouldn't have because you're a woman and women don't have rights. That, I don't know. That's dumb. Oh, we could double battle here. Do I want to? First double battle of the century. Let's see what happens. Goodbye. Hell yeah. Couple. Why are twins a couple? That's so weird. That's probably why their face looks so weird. Has anyone else bought Bye I'm Old? Not that I know of, no. Thank God these Pokemon suck. I remember doing this double battle last time, and these Pokemon were annoying. Okay, I think Bug actually damages my son. So we're gonna just get the hell... We're gonna get rid of Weedle. Don't talk about yourself that way, Pink. Women don't have rights. I don't know how deep I could go with my edgy jokes. So, you know, just gotta watch myself sometimes, you know. I know, why are they a couple? It reminds me of my parents. Jesus. Okay, Daddy Blast. My God. That's why their eyes are like all messed up. Jesus. It's fine though. It happens to people. Alright, let's get out of there. Oh, this Wyman gives me berries too, from what I remember. Wait, did Spicy literally just leave? He just put the goodbye to see what it does. Hell yeah, baby. Give me your berries, old grandma. I'm all for jokes, but yes, I know you have to be very, very careful as a streamer. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like one part of me is like, I have to, but then one part of me is like, I don't have to, but then one part of me is like, I have to. I don't know. I like being authentic, though. But I feel like a lot of times my jokes, people take them seriously, but then that's on people, I guess. Stardust. I thought that was going to be Starburst. Go back to the puddle. Oh yeah, there's a special thing in the puddle. I just remembered. Right? Yeah, you lied to me. There's nothing here. Ray tracing? Yo, Pokemon's ahead of its time. Look at that ray tracing. Oh, look at that. So much better than all these PS5 games and stuff. Um, you have to, but we're just so small, it's not as big as an issue yet. Yeah, I guess that's true. People I know with like 30 viewers average, they'll get a lot more shit. But do they get shit from like viewers? But I'm assuming they don't from Twitch, right? Like if they do from viewers, like I don't know, it's a very tricky thing. Huh? You don't know me? He says he's a water Pokemon expert, alright? How much you want to bet he doesn't even have a water Pokemon? Well, he is an expert, but not at water Pokemon. Jesus. Why do you have a Mew? Thank God it's only level 5. I'm gonna draw a city. Alright, see you, Nathan. Enjoy art for art class. Why did I use Vital Throw? Thank God it doesn't have a Psychic move. I would have gotten demolished. My son's getting pretty powerful. I want to get more Pokemon that are good. The Pokemon I have now are sucky. Gardevoir. He doesn't have water Pokemon yet. The scary thing is water Pokemon, though. They get it from people who come in and, like, troll report shit. A woman streamer I know who, like, doesn't play with moderation stuff because of how frequently she gets hate raided. I feel like hate raids, they're terrible. But I set something up on my stream deck so I could click a button and basically go to, like, follow mode or subscriber only mode or whatever. Obviously, they're annoying and no one wants a hate raid. But there are methods to, like, kind of push against it, but yeah, that definitely sounds really annoying. Hopefully she's found those methods. Is Gardevoir... Guys, would you say Gardevoir is, like, very beautiful? Even though he's a guy. Same, Chatterino is, like, 2 clicks for me. I feel like I've heard Chatterino before, but what is that? I don't know what that is. Let's go, Daddy. Shelgon! Jesus, your Pokemon are sexy. I wish I had your Pokemon. No offense, Daddy Blast. Isn't Ember super effective? Never mind. I'll pollinate the out of her. Wait, what is Chatterino? Why does it sound so familiar? Get out of my face. Get burned. Huh? How did Ember do more than Scratch? Even though Ember was... I guess I'm just that good. I know what I'm doing. Let's go, Daddy Blast. I just realized it's going to take like 50 turns level... I just realized it's going to take like 50 levels for Daddy Blast to learn anything. He's like level 16 as a Charizard. How's DoorDash going? Excuse me? DoorDash? I got over DoorDash. I'm Uber... What's up, Michael? What's up, Michael? What's up, Michael? It's like Chatterbait. Well, I know what Chatterbait is. I've been doing Uber Eats. I haven't done it in a week since the thing happened. Oh, this could be chocolate. But I want to do it real soon. I really want to do it again. I really, really do. So I'm probably going to do Uber Eats tomorrow. Even though it's a Jewish holiday tomorrow. F it. I'm going to wake up early and I'm just going to Uber... Oh, I spit. I'm going to Uber Eats the hell out of life. Oh, it's chocolate. Thank you. This tastes really good. I don't even need water. Yom Kippur, the day of... What is it in English? I forgot how to translate it. Basically, I can't use electronics for a full day, which is why I'm not going to stream Thursday, unfortunately. I think I'm going to stream more often, though, with Nuzlocke and stuff. And you can't use electronics or eat or drink for 25 hours. To remember that Jews went through a lot of bad stuff. That's basically it. Really cool third-party chat app. Okay. That's why I remember it now. I've installed Chatterino, or whatever, but I didn't really understand how to use it. And yeah, that's where I am on that. Chatterbait. Do you know something called masturbate? It's when you put... you use your hands to do something with your body. And Chatterbait is a place where you could watch other people doing that. So, it's pretty cool. A casino with titties? Wait, is that what that is? I guess I don't know what chatterbait is. And I think Michael is being joking. Oh, what's masturbate? It's not masturbate. But I think you're too young, you know. Yeah, you're in your early 20s, Michael. You're too young to know. Player Slayer. It also has dicks. You're into watching dudes is what I'm hearing. All of you are into watching at least one dude because you're watching me right now. Boom. Gotcha. What's prostrate? I don't even know what that is, doctor. I think your prostrate exam, I think you might be talking about that. I think it's when a doctor puts something up your butt to see if you have cancer. Something like that. I could be wrong, though. I'm not a doctor. Start masturbating. You spelled my name wrong again. You tried to correct it. But you just... Oh, I appreciate the effort. Oh my god. I think if I did an Omegle stream, I think I would get banned. I've gone on Omegle when I was younger. When I was like in middle school or high school with my friend. And we've had some cool... We've met some cool people, but yeah, half of it is just PPs. Are you gonna pig out on food before you start? Yeah, I do every year. Just thinking of it made me have to drink. It's only for a day, yeah. It's for 25 hours straight. It's. I used to love it. Not love it. I used to kind of like it when I was younger because I would play Yu-Gi-Oh! All day with my cousins until like 6 a.m. So hopefully we'll play Yu-Gi-Oh! Double dog dare? Well, I guess I have to now. Whoop! No, sorry, man. That's, if you do a tier 3 sub, then, you know, I'll send you the pictures, but otherwise. Even if not a dude's dick, I think it. Dicks galore. 100% banned, yeah, exactly. You're forced to turn on webcam now on Omegle. Oh, really? Yeah, but you can have your webcam on your PP, no? What's up, Jessica? It's been a long time. At least for the 18+ section. If they had a way to, like, if they had a way... Should we train this boy? We're gonna train stepmom. You know why? Because Son has to... It's weird if Son is older than stepmom. Stepmom has to be older. Son is almost as old as daddy, so we gotta train stepmom right now. Actually, I mount my webcam on my PP. Nice. How you doing, Jessica? How's work? How's everything? You're almost finishing up school, no? It's been a long time. It has been a long time. Been busy? To be fair, I haven't been streaming as often, so that's probably a factor as well. Alright, before we do stuff here, let's get a new Pokemon. Route 115, baby. This route sucks. There's no Pokemon. You're a walking tripod. So what do you do during the holiday, since you'll not have electronics? Do you take a vacation? Do you stay in your house and actually talk with family? Whoa. Oh, did you hear part of the... No, I play Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically, I'm with my cousin and my brother, and we'll play Yu-Gi-Oh! All night. Technically, we're supposed to go to synagogue, but we're not that religious. We go to synagogue at the end of the holiday. When I was young, I used to go to synagogue for like 5 hours, 6 hours straight, and we used to walk there. It was like a 1 hour walk, hour and a half walk, and it would be like brutal heat sometimes. But nowadays, it's so different. So, yeah. Basically gonna play Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably all day. I triple dog dare you to give me your SSN. Social security number. 645-457-8899999999. 9. Oh my god, new route, new route! Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, what will we catch here? Before we catch, I probably shouldn't use stepmom for this. Come on. Ooh, a Vileplume. Okay. Our first grass. I'll take it. Yu-Gi-Oh! The card game? Because I was thinking that counts as electronics. No, the card game, yeah. Technically, we're not even supposed to play cards. We're supposed to go to shul and sit there all day, but we're not that religious. So we kind of, tweak the rules. Yeah. I'm enjoying my vacation. I haven't been on Twitch recently, by the way. Oh, okay. I try to do other things instead. During this time, I've traveled to another city. I'm getting used to my regular life. Oh, cool. You like the sound alert? That's awesome, though. Upset, you're handsome. 999! Catch it and make it learn sleep powder. True! Vileplume will be very useful. If I don't kill it. Tackle. Huh? Isn't that a healing move? You're a brilliant person, Doctor. I should put the rules. I'm a bad streamer. I'll do it for next stream. I'm so stupid. Hey, listen. Look how cool the overlay looks, okay? I know it could be better, but it could be worse. Look at the Pokemon. Look at the death counter. Look at the badges. Look at the chat. Yeah, it's pretty wow. So, have you heard of Cafe Talk? It sounds vaguely familiar. One of you guys might have mentioned it. What is that? That emote placement? Wait, what emote placement? There's no emote. Oh. Pretty alright, my dude. I'm being a dick, it looks great. Nah. Oh, Mega Drain? Oh, that's a powerful move. I'm gonna thrust you with my arm. Which doesn't do much. Nah, I think it looks... To be honest, I don't think it looks amazing. It looks okay. I didn't know how to make it look better. I was really struggling trying to make it look better with the color schemes, but thank you. I'll post it in Discord. I need to take a screenshot of that emote placement. What emote placement? What are you talking about? What do you mean? You mean the emotes that come out from time to time? Dick aware. Oh, that actually applies this time because Trisket said dick. You know what? I'm gonna sand attack you. Because I want to catch you. Okay, I'm not wasting all my balls on you without catching you. What an annoying Pokemon. Oh my god, stop healing yourself, you loser. Oh, it didn't heal itself. Oh, does that heal status effects? I don't remember what that move does. Oh my god, stop Mega Draining my ass. Oh, son! Son, don't get hit again, please. I'm gonna use a potion on you if you get hit again. All right, one more sand attack, and then we'll use a potion and then try to catch the Vileplume. Any good names for Vileplume, guys? It has to be related to the family. So far, we got son, we got stepmom, because Mommy Blaster died. Blast? Mommy Blast died. We have Daddy Blast. And this is a guy. No, wrong button. Let's use that potion. Oh, I don't want son to die. After mom died, Daddy Blast would be so sad. How do you not miss any of your moves? I sand attacked you like 30 times. Step Shroom! Oh, that's so good. Oh, but this is Vileplume. Step Shroom might be good. Step Shroom might be good. I don't expect any worse. Like, you always have good names. Comedian over here. Step Spore. Come on, Vileplume. Cafe Talk, you can be a tutor and teach Japanese students English online? And can advertise your stream so your students can learn about porn in English. Wait, really? Can you DM me that on Discord or like message me that on Discord? Because that sounds amazing. Thank you, Aqua. You're such an awesome person. I posted it in memes. Okay. I'm working as a private teacher. It's kind of cool. Hell yeah! You getting paid good money? Jessica, and you enjoying it? We do. All right. See you, Jessica. Goodbye. See you next time. I'm so proud of myself sometimes when I make stuff. What the hell? Oh my god. Oh, that's awesome. I didn't even see that, Cortez. Oh, that's actually awesome. Everyone check out the Discord to see that. I wasn't sure what you were talking. That's why we have the emote wall there. When I remember to go on Discord, I'll send a link. Okay. Thank you. That one's a stretch. Sister Saiban. Yeah, Sister Saiban. I don't know about that. Alright, we're just gonna tackle you like 2 times. Ooh, you have Stun Spore. Ooh. Thank you, Doctor. Damn it. Why you gotta stun me? I'm enjoying it. You like the new alerts, right? It's cool. Thank you. Alright, take care. Oh, come on, just get in my balls. See you later, Aqua. I get good payment? Hell yeah. That's awesome. Alright, we got 6 more balls. We should be okay. Come on. Come on. Yes, you were so annoying to catch. Oh, Stepsaur, Stepshroom, Stepspore. Japan, Peru, Japan. You can make a song out of that. How's that a sad face? Is that not a clown? Oh, I just skipped the clowns for some reason. I'll say for you, clown face, clown face, clown face. Vileplume. Okay, Stepspore. Stepspore sounds so good, actually. I really like Stepspore. This is going to be on YouTube with thousands of views, guys, so just keep that in mind. You guys are going to be on YouTube. Stepspore actually sounds so good. Oopsies, did not mean to do that. What the heck? There we go. I like Stepspore. Hi, YouTube. Yeah, I was hoping someone would do that. It was my idea. Yeah, they'll never know. It's okay. We're gonna be freaking huge on YouTube, okay? I don't know if it's from this video. Should we do it like this, or should it not have a space? What do you guys think? Space or no space? Oh, you're so close, man. 2 L's? I'll just tell you. 2 L's, 1 T. Let us out. It's been days. They're not gonna see this part. I'm gonna cut this part out. Use a dash? Ooh, that's good. Yes. How do I go there? I don't want to screw up the names. I'm just gonna go back. Let's use a dash. We go all out for you, Vileplume. I mean, Stepspore, right? So you better not die. If you die, I'm gonna cry. Let's go. Big boy Stepspore coming in handy. I think there's actually 99 L's. What? Fuck, I really hit every wrong option. It's okay, bro. It's okay. Let's go Stepspore! Hell yeah. That was a new route, right? I'm not dumb. Okay, it's Route 116. That better be a new route. Wait, is this the same route? We gotta remember, because if we catch... Okay, that's 115. We're good. Okay, our team's actually looking like something. We got 5 members, 2 of which we're probably not going to use. 1 L in your name for every time I demolished you and MK... Oh. But you've never won 100 times, so it doesn't mean anything. I can't believe we have actually played that many games together? That's kind of crazy. That reminds me, I had a friend in high school, and he went to bubble in his name on test scantrons. It wouldn't fit because his name was too long. Honestly, I'm so happy my parents didn't give me a middle name, because I feel like that would be so annoying. Like, I'm such a lazy person that if I had a middle name, I wouldn't like it. We're actually gonna keep everyone here. I wouldn't like it would be annoying on forums, you know, like official forums and stuff. All right, let's actually do what we're supposed to do here. I don't think we have to verse the. Oh, we do have to verse the first gym, I guess. I'm kind of scared. All right, this is what we're gonna do, guys. We're gonna train Jesus. We're gonna train Stepspore. We got Stepspore, Stepblast, Stepmom, Son, and Daddy Blast. Looking kind of sexy over here. We're gonna train Stepspore, okay, and Stepmom. Because even though I don't like Stepmom much, she's the only woman in the family. And Mommy Blast died. Our last... So, we need to train her. It's like not even a question. Alright, let's go. Let's go. It's hard enough trying to name a child, but then you gotta think of 2 names for the middle name. Oh! Clefable. I actually prefer Vileplume over Clefable. Yeah. You gotta think of 2 names for the middle name. Yeah. Wait, why 2 names? Or you just don't name them. Okay, Stepmom, you're a weakling, and you're the youngest one here, which is really sus. So, we're gonna get Stepspore in here. First name and middle name equals 2. Oh, yeah, true. Ooh, Sing's a good move. To be fair, you're not always gonna be naming your child. Oh my god, she has such good moves. You're not always gonna be naming... Metronome. That could be bad. Thunderbolt. What the hell? It's a powerful move. You're gonna be naming my child. I'm gonna name your child Cortez? Hell yeah. I'm looking forward to it. You can name your child Core. So it could be like Cortez and Core. Maybe. What was I gonna say? I named my cousin, for example. Which is kind of cool. I was like, Rebecca. And her mom's like, yo, that actually sounds kind of based. Except she didn't say that. She just said, yo, that's cool. Give your child a different middle name so they think they're adopted. Just give them a different last name so they think they're adopted. It's an easy way to assert dominance. True. I mean, you could assert dominance with your children and with children in general in many ways, if you know what I mean. See, it's stuff like that that I feel like would get me canceled if I was a bigger streamer. You can't say that stuff. Oh my god! You're useless! Why does Daddy gotta carry everyone? Oh my god. Why does the Vileplume sprite look like a demon? Listen, I don't know, but looks kind of hot. Teleport? I spent all that work on you and you just teleport? Ooh! A King's Rock! A King's Rock. Guys, if we get a Seadra, we could get a Kingdra. Oh, that's actually a useful item. Foreshadowing? Or not. We'll see what happens. God, they got so destroyed. Some random kid approached me at a ski hill once and said he named his little brother after me. You know what's sad, Doctor? You've never told me your name. And that hurts me. Right here. But Doctor's pretty cool. So that's fine. I try to cut back on those jokes unless in a very specific context that like demands it be made. I like making pedophile jokes. I don't know if that sounds weird. I don't know why. I know why actually. I like making them, and I like making different types of jokes because I like when I like making people awkward. It's just so funny to me to make people like so awkward. It's so funny to me. It works better IRL obviously because I could see reactions, but but I guess it doesn't look good also since I was a teacher. I guess it's not a good idea. Or a Slowking. Yeah, or a Slowking. I didn't even think of that. Slowking is 3rd gen, yeah? Oh, I just went to the dentist today. And eating this Altoid just made my teeth feel weird. Yo, my dentist was like, bro, your teeth are almost perfect. And then I slapped him in the face. Her in the face. Because women's rights don't matter. No, because she said almost. But to be fair, they're not that good. Alright, do we verse? Nah, I want to get some practice in the grass for Stepmom. Stepmom is too loser. Too much of a loser right now. But Clefable is so annoying to go against. But we'll probably get a lot of Jesus, I was choking on my Altoid. Probably get a lot of XP, so it's not all bad. We're just gonna get Daddy out here. Hopefully she doesn't use teleport. Let's go. That would have been annoying too. To be fair, Charizard's probably gonna be pretty weak this run. Until later on, if it survives. Because he only has Emperor. And at what level does a fully evolved Charizard learn moves? Like it's probably like level 45 or something, you know? Let's go, Stepmom. You're 5 years old now. It's not as creepy. I want to progress at the same time, though. We'll do a few more. I want her to be at least like level 8 or something. A Deoxys? In my last run, Deoxys gave a lot of XP as a wild Pokemon, so. Oh my god, imagine he wrapped my other Pokemon. If he wrapped Mommy, she would have died. He learns Wing Attack at 36? Oh, okay. That's good. But that's so late at the same time, you know? Let's go! Stepmom learning Yawn. Good job, Stepmom. Flamethrower at 34? Oh. If he survives until then. Ooh. You're back, step bro. Stepmom's gonna kill. Do I yawn and then just go pound? I forgot he has Mega Drain. That's such a like powerful move. It sucked up the liquid ooze. Oh damn. Oh, it like did nothing. Okay, I knew it would do nothing. I knew that. I think we're gonna be good here. We're just gonna pound it. It's gonna fall asleep and we're just gonna pound it to oblivion. If I knew that, I would have used Stepmom before to... Well, Stepmom's really good to catch Pokemon, since it has Yawn. I have to go. We have good Pokemon, I think. Oh my god, this is gonna take 5 hours. We're actually gonna... She's too weak. We're gonna go to Step Spore. Oh, that makes no sense. What am I doing? Grass moves against the grass. Oh my god. They're the same level though. Kill your brother. What move do I use? I don't even know if this is gonna do any damage. It did like 1 damage. It's gonna wake up now. Yep. Bro! Oh my god. What an annoying Pokemon. We're just gonna stun it and then change to a different Pokemon because, oh, well, it's dumb. Are you serious? We're gonna stun it and then change to Daddy. I feel like Daddy is like just so OP. To be fair, it is a grass Bro. Okay, I'm just running away. That's too much work. Jesus Christ. Alright. We're gonna go back heal. And then we're gonna battle the guys. Ooh, speaking of Slowking. See, we don't need a King's Rock. If we caught him. Or her. Huh. I'm just gonna run away. Actually. Stepmom is still too weak. I forget we get the experience share pretty soon, so I shouldn't be too worried, in all honesty. I think in my next run, I'm gonna do something crazy like shiny hunting, and or just like hardcore Nuzlocke, where you can't use experience share, can't change Pokemon or something, and level caps and stuff like that. I think that would be better. Well, I mean, we already lost a Pokemon this run, so. Huh. Can we verse the gym now? Yo. Actually?
Don't take us gym trainers lightly.
You're an elite trainer. Oh, damn. I forget the kids. Why do you have that Pokemon? And his underwear is way too small for his body. Jesus. That's actually very scary. Oh. Please don't have a rock move. Please don't have a rock move. That, like... Oh. Actually, Leer could be worse. Wait, why would I change... Okay, I could smoke screen him. He's actually a high level. Maybe I shouldn't have came here. Okay, good. I want to see his other moves. So we're going to smoke screen a bit more. Okay. I think it's safe to say that's his only move. That could have been really bad. Well, would he have a rock move? He would just have, like, fighting moves, right? But fighting beats Daddy Blast, right? Charizard Weaknesses. Oh no, Charizard is weak to water, electric, and rock. Rock is ×4, I think, because it's flying fire, right? Let's see. Yep, water, electric, rock. That's less than I thought Charizard was much weaker for some reason. Sheesh. Ooh, Stepmom got 205 experience and only evolved only went up 1 level. Yeah, it's too good for you. That's right. Get out of my face. Oh, there's a double battle there. I'm thinking of going into the double battle by putting these two and then changing into these two. The only thing that's scary is dependent on what Pokemon they have, but let's do it. I don't care. Let's do it! I don't think I'm gonna verse Roxanne right away, though. I'm gonna go up to train first before versing her. Because Jesus. A Gyarados and a Zapdos! Oh my god! Why'd I go for the double battle? Okay. They're level 8s. It's okay. It's okay. They're level 8s. Electricity won't kill Step Spore. And water won't kill Step Spore. I don't even know what Stepmom is weak to be honest. Let me look it up. I think they're both actually okay. Okay, so Psychic and Ground kills it. Psychic and Ground. So unless Gyarados has Earthquake or something, we should be fine. What's up, Nico? Yeah. Psychic and Ground kills it. Let's put something to sleep. And let's Mega Drain Gyarados. Yeah, Peck! Oh my god. Oh my god. Thank god Gyarados didn't attack Step Spore also. Oh! Oh my god. I only have one strategy here. Oh my god, I have to put them to sleep. Are my potions gonna... But then if they both attack one... Oh my god, why do you have Peck? No. Oh, the scary thing about changing to Daddy Blast is that he's... Water could hit him, but I don't think water will kill him. Don't let it happen, yeah. I gotta be smart here. Yeah, I did know that, Nico. But you got it back, right? I saw that message on Twitter. I didn't respond yet. My bad. It's good that you got it back. Why? Do you know why it was terminated? Alright, we gotta change, guys. We gotta change. Why is there a Zapdos? Okay, Zapdos will fall asleep. I'm just gonna have to hope. I'm just gonna have to hope that they survive. I'm just gonna have to hope that he doesn't water gun or like surf Daddy Blast or something. Why are you attacking Sun? Oh my god! And then he falls asleep. Oh, you got confused. Oh my god. That was so lucky. That was so lucky. Oh my... Okay, we're gonna smoke screen the hell out of them. Ah, that's not enough. I don't know if that's enough. Please hit yourself, Gyarados. Please hit yourself. Don't wake up, Zapdos. Don't wake up, don't wake up, don't wake up. Thank God. Hit yourself, hit yourself, hit yourself. No! Oh! The smoke screen actually helped. Okay. Hopefully Ember does a good amount of damage. And we're just gonna Potion Sun again. I'm not taking risks. Oh my god. Okay, that's good, that's good. That's good. Zapdos is dead. Computer virus or hack? Damn. But you gotta... Oh. We can make it better, baby. I'll try my best. Thank you, Michael. I'm gonna actually Arm Thrust here, which might seem dumb, but... Thank God that Zapdos is gone. Jesus Christ. Oh, stepmom. God bless you. Oh, God bless you. Yes. Oh, this is... Okay, Sunflower. Sunflora. Hit yourself. Hit yourself. Yes! Thrust him in the butt. Oh, it does like no damage. That was dumb. I'm doing good, Nico. There's a character limit, so people can't spam like an insane amount for TTS. That's my workaround. Okay. I'm just gonna Sand Attack Gyarados. I don't know what else to do. Okay, things are looking good. Things are looking good. Let's go, Daddy. No, why'd you snap out? Oh my god, Gyarados is so annoying. Hopefully Ember does enough. We're gonna use our last potion. No one's dying today, boys. Boys and girls. Okay, Ember didn't do that bad. Yes! Unless he uses a full restore, we're good. Bro. If he uses a full restore, we're screwed. Oops, wrong button. Yeah, we're good. Oh my god. Work it better, make it better. Work is never over. Let's go, stepmom! Double digits, baby. Oh, why did it take so long to... Ponyta? Okay, we're fine. I forgot I got my tackle out there, too. Let's arm thrust your face. Yeah, we're good. Oh my god. Yeah, well, we're gonna go train up top before versing Roxanne. Not too much, though. I don't want it to be way too overtrained, you know? Technically, without... The potion saved us. We almost died, though. Jesus, a freaking Zapdos. What's wrong with you? Alright. Oh, wrong way. We're gonna heal. Oh, you know what I forgot, actually? We have a buffer Pokemon. Step Blast could basically die. No one cares about Step Blast. So, if Step Blast... We could use Step Blast as bait to heal up other Pokemon if things get really spicy. I would like Step Sport to be at least double digits, though. You know? Thanks. Wait, why isn't it going through? Thanks for the bits, Michael. Why did... Oh, there it is. Okay. I was like, We could hear it now, I'm sure. Thanks, bro. Is that your social security number? Alright. Bruh. Bruh. Why you do this? Had to get my Roxanne password. All 400 digits? Sheesh. If I lose here, and I can't use the audio, because in the audio, we hear 597. Then I'm gonna cry. What number are you up, though? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I almost choked. You added a high out of nowhere. Shrooms. You messed up a digit near the beginning. It's okay, it's okay. Sometimes people mess up, bro. What beats him again? I keep forgetting. I have the memory of a goldfish. Whatever, son. Get out there. Makuhita Weaknesses. It's like grass. Psychic, Flying, Fairy. Fairy's not even here, so Psychic and Flying. Okay, we should be fine. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2. I guess that means I need to do... Nah, it's okay. I mean, I appreciate the bits. But I don't think you screwed it up. I think you got the numbers good. He paralyzed me. 6-9. 6-9. I could theoretically turn it off. But I'm a nice guy, so I won't. Oh my god, son, just kill him. It should be. Oh, is that pie? Are you trying to put pie or something? Let's go. Level 9. Almost level 10. Would be his Kangaskhan? 690. 690. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. You know what? I'm gonna Mega Drain. Oh, that did like nothing. We should be good here. Oh my god, how big is this number? It never ends. Okay, Bite shouldn't even kill me, even with the Leer. I think that's his strongest move, so we should be okay. Unless... No! Oh my god, why do you have that move? The last bet is still 46,264. Should I risk it, guys? Should I risk it? I'm risking it. Oh, he bit. Oh, thank god. Sorry, yeah, I see. Are you guys making that up? Or is there actually something? Let's go, Step Spore. Trisket Biscuit naming him. We beat Schoolgirl Marshall. Get out of my face, you schoolgirl. I don't think we've versed him yet. It's real, a 6 was missing. What is it? Tentacool? Not that cool. Alright, this is easy. I was like, why does it show like one of my Pokemon are dead? But I think they're paralyzed, that's why. Come on, why isn't he dead? Why do you have Supersonic? Digits of Pi? Do you have it memorized? Don't hit yourself, don't hit yourself, don't hit yourself, don't hit yourself. No. No. Oh, it didn't poison me. Okay. Hell yeah! Snap out of that confusion. That's what I like, Step Spore. Step Sis. Don't poison, don't poison. Hell yeah. Oh my god. Let's go. Part of Pi I've memorized is... Yeah, I'm not reading that. Oh, finally! Jesus Christ. All I know is 3.14. Step Spore is freaking stepping it up. Alright. We'll verse the last 2 trainers here and then we'll head back.
I study at school and I study on the way home.
But why do you have it memorized? You know you could just find it on the computer, right? Or reversing a cop. Gotta be careful. Come on, Stepzor. Why does Tangela have shoes? That's so dumb. I don't want to use Daddy, but he might come in clutch later, so. It's a weird paddle until the last bit. Isn't it always a weird paddle? What if I'm on a game show and they ask me? That's actually completely fair. Cool kids remember numbers. It replaced me. Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't know you were going through that. I'm not gonna have a computer then. Yeah, but you could have an earpiece. And I could be feeding you the answers. Okay, we're not doing another double battle, bro. That was too scary before. We're not even doing one battle, it seems. Too close to home. Listen, if your parents didn't love you, that's your fault. Okay? Why wouldn't your parents love you? Just kidding. I'm sorry they didn't love you. My parents love me. Loved me and kind of love me. I don't know. So you can have them if you want. Nah, they're pretty decent. Alright, let's get a Mega Train. That doesn't even make sense. Let's Mega Train. Speaking of home, we got hit by another... Really? In the land of Texas? Damn. Was it bad? Well, I guess hurricanes are bad. It wouldn't be good. But, like, are you guys okay? Doctor, listen. The truth is the truth, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry it hurts, but it's just the truth. Step Spore is actually really good. And has an awesome name. I just can't spam this move. Because it only has 10. Yeah, you tackle me, you think it does anything? What a loser. Think it does... Why do I have Thunderstruck? Why do I keep making that noise when I'm surprised? It's so dumb. Alright, I should be able to absorb his essence into my soul. Hey, let's go. Let's go. We gotta train Mama up, though. Mama's a weakling. Ooh, look at that XP. Oh, so sexy. Okay. It's kind of sad. Most of these guys can't evolve. Yeah, you're gonna have to get in there, Mama. It's a dead end up here. So why are you just standing there? Tropical Storm, but I upgraded to Cat 1. Lost power. Oh, Cat 1 is like weak, right? Oh, that's good. That's good. Lost power for a couple hours. Damn. I feel like you lose power kind of often. You want to see me play Subnautica? That game's scary, bro. That game's scary. I keep forgetting what kills him. What kills her, I mean. It was only like 85 miles per hour. Bro, I ride race cars faster than that in my dreams, so. Come on, stepmom. Oh yeah, poison doesn't affect you. Oh, stepmom is so trash. You're the only Wyman on the team. You gotta show that Wyman are powerful too. There you go. We're not scared of no scary face, right, stepmom? I believe in you. I did play Five Nights at Freddy's. That was not enjoyable. Come on. Let's go! That was the worst game I've ever played in my life. Primeape. We're gonna keep you in here just to get the XP. But you can't fight that boy. He's gonna do things to you that you don't want me to talk about. Sorry, stepmom. I was going down a hill at like 90 and I hit the brakes. Jesus! Oh. That sounds scary and you're just like pretty sick. Okay. 5 Friday Nights at Funkin'. Oh yeah, I keep confusing the name. 5 Nights at Freddy's, right? You want to do it again? So do it. I mean, I'm not condoning. Do what you think is right. Do what you think is safe. One of my friends does race car, does race driving, like competitively. It's pretty crazy. I turned my wheel, but I kept going straight. That does sound cool. I don't drive, so I don't really know anything, but that does sound cool. Sounds very nice. Boop, 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 doo, 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 doo. Jesus, look at that coughing's eyes. Staring into your soul. Kind of scary. We're gonna pound you in the butthole a few times. Oh, God. Stepmom, what are you doing? I mean, like, you're not doing much. I didn't mean, like, stepmom, what are you doing? I meant, like, you're not doing much. New Yorkers don't really drive. I feel like... I would be curious to see what percentage of New Yorkers drive, because I feel like a good amount of New Yorkers do drive. But, yeah, I don't drive. I don't need to drive. It's just money, you know? Money that I don't need to spend if I'm not driving. That's my whole thought process behind it, essentially. Oh my God, go back to sleep coughing. Get out of here. All that effort for one level. Not bad, actually. Benetti. I think Psychic kills Stepmom. Oh, no! There's a move that could kill her now. Wait, survive, please. There's... Okay. There's a move that hits you even if you're changing Pokemon out. I forgot what it's called. Oh, that move is annoying. Doesn't that move kill you? Wait. Curse, Pokemon Emeralds. I have to remember. I feel like in one of the games it actually kills you. It takes... A cursed Pokemon will lose 1/4 of its max HP at the end of each turn. The curse will remain until the Pokemon switches out or the battle ends. Oh, okay. Feint Attack. It might have been Feint Attack. I think it was a different one, actually. But Feint Attack, probably too. Alright, this is not good. What do I do? Do I change to Sun? Because... Jesus, I keep forgetting what he dies from. Psychic and Flying. Yeah, he could die from Psychic. I feel like Step Spore is the best choice here. Let's get I trained her up a bit. Or him up a bit. The only drive I need is sex. I'm reading backwards, sorry. And a table I served today said I can't talk to them because I wasn't a Yankee. Really? That sounds so dumb. Alright, let's Stun Spore you. Because you are harshly decreasing my defense, which is not good. Curse does that when it's used by Ghost type. Oh! Otherwise it's just a stat changing move? That's what it is. Okay, thank you. I knew there was something there. Alright, we should be good now. That was a little scary. That's weird, Michael. Because you aren't a Yankee. Doesn't Yankee mean American or, like, white? Aren't you, like... I remember looking at you from playing drums. Like... I don't know, that's a bit weird to me. I thought it meant American. Yeah. Me too. And you don't have an accent or anything. So I don't understand. No contest at all. Let's go. Oh, do I have to verse that guy too? So many people. Dive Ball. Pretty useless. Yeah, I'm white complected, but I'm Hispanic. Yeah, but like... Unless they know that you're Hispanic. That would be a hate crime. You should report it. That's really weird. I mean, it's better... I guess it's better than if they said... Oh, wait, you served the table. Never mind. I was about to say it would be better... It's better that they said that for you not... to not serve the table. Oh, we could catch our last Pokemon here. If they said don't serve us, that would be better. But if you served them, they probably tipped you bad too, right? Did they tip you bad? Alright, we'll put Sun up here. Should we go for a Pokemon? Let's see how much... We have 5 Pokeballs. I think we could do it. Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. Oh my god. Why did nothing pop out? You wouldn't be able to tell by looking at me because of my green eyes. Yeah, that's weird. That's really weird. Okay, let's see what pops up. Yo? Shedinja? Shedinja's a weird Pokemon. I would never guess this Pokemon. Doesn't it have like very low HP or something? Doesn't it have... I forgot what the secret thing about it. I actually didn't see the tip of our position system was all funky, so entire... Oh, okay. That's good. Wonder Guard, catch it. Only one... Oh, it does only have 1 HP, yeah? It's good I missed my first attack then, right? But I have to catch it. Can only be hit by super effective attacks. Oh, that's awesome. It's gonna be really hard to catch now, though. My Altoids were spelling. I do have a DS. I have Game Boy SP all the way up to Switch. I might have to use my Great Ball here. Poison, fire, sleep, and paralysis. Oh my god! That's such a weird Pokemon. It's good and competitive, right? Yeah, I've played every generation. I have Pokemon Moon and Ultra Moon, I think. So what is he good for? He has high attack? Oh my god. Yeah, Leech Life is actually the stupidest move for attack. One of the stupid, yeah. It can't even heal anything. Alright, if I don't get this, I'm going to my Great Ball. Bro. A shiny Greninja? Sure, I guess. I mean, I haven't played it in a while. We want to have Swords Dance, Protect, Shadow Sneak, and just one other move you want. Okay. But then, like, if someone just burns me, he dies, right? It's probably one of the worst Pokemons I have. Great Ball, Great Ball, Great Ball! Let's go! It's probably one of the worst Pokemons I have for Nuzlocke, though, right? It just has a little catch rate? Oh, okay. I mean, it has full HP. Well, it has 1 HP. What are we naming you? What are we naming him? Made me want to play Pokemon, so I'm breeding more Greninja now. Nice! I was like, why? Do you want a shiny Greninja? I'll take it, I guess. AI may not know to use a move that can burn. That's true. Shedinja. What do we name him? Step God. How about that? Step God. Or God Blaster. God Blaster. Since we have God, we have Blast for a lot of the Pokemon, and like family. We have a lot of shiny Greninja. Okay. I'll take one for sure then. But I think I restarted I might have restarted my older games and traded all the Pokemon to the newer games. I usually do that. If it gets hit by a fire move anyway, it's dead because it's weak to it. Right, that's true. That's a good point. Super effective, you said, attacks it anyway. I feel like he's gonna die real quick. No offense, Shedinja. I'm an idiot. You're probably gonna die quick. But let's name you. Guys, got any names? Come on. Just be smart when using it. Yeah, just be smart. That's where it stops. Step God. Step God, yeah? Alright, let's go with Step God. Alright. Good night, bro. Thanks for popping in. Thank you for the raid. Arigato gozaimasu. And thanks for clipping it. Creating memories is always awesome. I'll talk to you soon, hopefully. And one of these weekends, I want to hold a tournament of Mario Kart or something. So I'll definitely contact you for details of that if you're interested. Have an amazing night, bro. Thanks for popping in. Alright, let's go with Step Bro. I mean Step God. We're finally gonna verse the gym after this. Yo, imagine going up like against the Zapdos or something and you just have Shedinja. Oh, that would be so funny. He could actually be really useful if I use him right. Keywords if I use him right. Step God, baby. Step God, baby. Bet. Hell yeah. Alright, now let's get out of here. Now we gotta get all the way back. We're gonna verse the gem and then probably call it a night. Oh my god. Thank you for the cheer. Arigato gozaimasu. What? Shedinja. Don't die. Shouldn't you don't die? Please place it over us so the curse does not happen and he dies. What's the opposite of a curse? That's what you're doing right now. You're blessing him. And he better appreciate that shit. Alright, we'll go for community games. My mom? What? What about your mom? Oh no, a blessing. Cursing your mom? You curse your mom? Shedding J, don't D. Shit. I was about to like rap on that, but you know, whatever. Sorry, autocorrect. Yes. A blessing, my mom. Autocorrect. Very natural stuff. We got a full party, baby. Jesus, what is that sprite? Some of these sprites look stupid. Okay, Step Guide. Well, let's see what other moves he has. Why? Why do you have Harden and Leech Life? What useless moves. He could be useful, though. Depending on what the gym leader has. That's a yikes. Alright, we're gonna take on the gym. This is gonna be the scariest part of this Nuzlocke thus far. I mean, take on Roxanne. What level is Roxanne's highest Pokemon? Let's look it up. Roxanne, highest level Pokemon. Obviously, it's randomized, but... Roxanne only has 2 Pokemon. Level 14 and 15. Oh, level 14 and 15. That's actually pretty high. I'm a little tempted to train a little more. Level 14 and 15? Oh, that's high, man. I'm gonna buy more potions. Let's see how many potions we have. I'm not gonna train more, but I'll buy more potions. Yeah, we have no potions. I'm gonna buy potions. I think that's the least I could do. Because if he has like an Articuno or something, like... Jesus, that would be very frustrating. Oh, we could buy super potions now. Which I will gladly take only 5. We need money for Pokeballs. We don't have any. I don't really need Pokeballs right now though, but... Alright, that should work out. I just realized I'm your top bidder. You are. You are the top bidder. Not many people are as generous as you are. Kinda true. I mean, it's not about generosity. I mean, some people don't have money. Some people don't want to, which is fair. But yeah, I do appreciate it. I just like annoying you. As long as you're having fun. I was about to save, but then I realized it doesn't even matter. I feel like there's a stigma around that. A stigma around what? Around bits and stuff? I mean, like, stigma oh my god. How did I fall for that? Stigma balls in your mouth! That's actually a good one. That's a good one, okay? And it's been a while, so it caught me off guard. Gotti. Alright, let's verse her. Oh, Roxanne. Ah, we can't go back. Please die. 3? I thought she has 2 Pokemon. It's Emerald. She might have stronger Pokemon. A Trico. Okay. A Trico. Okay. Trico. Trico does not have Peck. Oh, Trico can have Peck, yeah? Doesn't matter. Oh my god. Daddy Blast. We got this. We got this, Daddy. Absorb. Okay, yeah, that doesn't matter. Oh, hell, a critical hit does 1 damage. Alright, what's your next Pokemon? Come on, what's your next Pokemon? What's your next Pokemon? Good job, son. Let's go. Let's go, daddy. We just gained back that 1 HP. Coughing. Let's keep you out, daddy. I'm not taking risks. Alright, they're kind of high levels-ish. Ooh, let's... Oh, no! It didn't miss. Okay, we have an antidote for this case. My hope is that she heals. Because if her last Pokemon is a beast, she hasn't used any of her full restores yet. Okay, there we go. Okay, good. Or potions or whatever. Oh, that's good, that's good. Now she's dead. Let's go! Last Pokemon, last Pokemon. Shedinja! Oh my god, imagine I didn't have fire. Oh my god. Oh, that's hilarious. Level 15 Shedinja. Easiest gym battle of my life. Let's go. Oh my god. That's so easy. Oh my god. We officially got our first badge. Look at that, it's on screen now. Hell yeah. Got him. Which TM is this? Rock Smash or something? Rock Tomb, okay. That was nice. GG. Nice GG, by the way. Hell yeah, we demolished her. We actually demolished her trainers had a Zapdos and a Gyarados. And she has, oh my god. Oh, we got so lucky. We'll do a little bit more before ending it for today. Or before going to community games. Watch the clip. But then I have to press all these buttons. Give me a second. Wrong button. I think it's a window capture. And then browser. And then I go here. I double click. I go like this. Why do I have to watch it? I know what happens already. There we go. Oh, that's me? That is a good one. Stick my balls in your mouth! Where'd I go? Oh, yeah, let's get rid of that now. Shit! Why'd you set up the buttons if you're not gonna press them? Oh no, well, I didn't set it up for this. Alright, stop being an asshole, okay? I didn't set it up. No, you're not being an asshole. But I didn't set it up for this. Because I'm stupid. For this scene, basically. I set it up for the other one. Press every button. If you donate $10 billion, I'll press one button. Oh, it's you, that fantastic trainer. I was robbed. Yeah, I'll go save your ass. I already killed all these guys. I'll save your ass. I'll go to the person up top. I'll get the Devon goods. I'll talk to the president. And then I think I'll end the episode. It's not an episode, but end the Nuzlocke attempt there. We have a full team though, which is pretty cool. We only had one death. I'm surprised we had any, but it makes it more interesting, so that's cool. Pretty much not gonna lose anyone now. But unless we lose someone to the Team Aqua guy. Who should we use against Team Aqua? Step God. Step God. Yeah, we could put Step God at the front to get XP. We'll do that when we verse him, though. For now, we'll have Stepmom out. We already beat you. Already beat you. I'll beat your butt in my butt hole. Yes, yes, yes. I'll save you. Alright. We already caught Shedinja here, so we could kind of run through this. See what this is. Another King's Rock? Did you know you can check and see how many steps you've taken? Wait, really? Wait, when was the last time you saved? I can't save. Well, I didn't save. I could save, but I'm an idiot. Technically, saving doesn't mean anything, but I don't know how to save. Here, let me try. Save game, save to file. I'm scared I'm gonna ruin everything the way I save. Here, let's see if it worked. File, save to file. Let's see if it works. If I press load game and I press load from file and I press this. Okay, all right, it's good. Now was the last time I saved. Let's go. All right, let's go with Shedinja, baby. I mean, Step God. Let's go, Step God. Godfather would have been good. Let's go, baby. Okay, what are Shedinja's weaknesses? Shedinja weaknesses. Dark. Jesus, there's a lot. Dark, flying, ghost, fire, or rock could attack it, apparently. That's actually a lot, no? Dark. How do you remember that? Dark, flying, ghost, fire. Yeah, I'm not going to remember that. I need to have that on my side or something. I'm not going to remember that. Trico. Can I scratch him and kill him? I'm just going to use him as a thing to switch out for now. You press F4 and Alt. Alt F4? I'm not stupid, bro. Actually, I am. I fell for that. I fell for that when I was playing Minecraft a while, when I used to stream on YouTube. I fell for that. It was really funny, actually. I fell for that from from OG of the chat, one of the nicest guys I've met. I built up a tracker of all the things and Pokemon seen shinies encounters steps taken in battles. F4 Alt's completely different. Yeah, because the order of the buttons matter, right? You can't trick me with these amateur things, okay? I'm not an amateur streamer anymore. I've been streaming for longer than some people have been born, okay? Oh, just F4? To be honest, I don't know what that'll do, so.
This plan's not right. All I had to do was steal this.
Oh, F4 and then Alt. Wait, let me see. You see, that was nice of you, though. Asking when the last time I saved first. Just in case I didn't. And then F12 is full screen. Yeah, I don't know what F12 does. I don't want to go full. I can't go full screen actually, because then it ruins the thing for the stream. All right. Well, we need Rock Smash to get past there, so there's no point of going there. We're gonna talk to the president of the United States of America. Oh, he's gonna give me a ball or something. Give me something. Another great ball. That's actually pretty useful. The other one actually helped me catch Ninja. Yeah, I didn't want you losing all that progress. Yeah, I appreciate that. Oh, this is when you talk to him for half an hour.
Oh, that's right. Could you wait here? The President of the United States would like to talk to you.
El Presidente! Oh, your Spanish is really good. Please come with me. Does he speak? Yo, what's up, Mr. Stone? Are you stoned? I'm so stupid. Yo, give me the letter. Give me the letter. I want to freaking give it to Steven so bad. I want to... I don't know. I'm a great president. Yeah, I don't care about your Pokénav. Give me the experience share already. You give it to me later, right? Alright, bye. 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 Oh, he rests my Pokemon? That's pretty nice. Oh, I have to verse May next. Guys, should I verse May first? Let's verse May first. Isn't there fast forward on emulators? What do you mean, like this? I was hoping you guys wouldn't figure it out. I feel like it would be cheating using a fast forward. Should I just use it, guys? I have the control. I'm using a PS5 controller, guys. I'm on another level.
May I see that Pokénav?
Our president should be... Give our pres... Oh my god. I'll call him. Ugh. What's up? You're looking down at me from your office window. Alright, get out of there. Nintendo is gonna come for you, don't tell them. I'd say use it to skip the boring parts or just lots of text. Okay. How else are you gonna do it? How else are you doing a randomizer? No, you right. Alright. I just don't want to go out of control using it every 5 seconds, you know? Do we go with Step God first? We do. What's up, girl? Yeah, we'll register each other. Let's battle. Like that? Yeah, use it like every 6 seconds, so we all have seizures, right? Fan Jasmine! Wow! Mareep? How do you have so many Pokemon? Mareep's a good Pokemon. Electricity doesn't kill Step God, right? It doesn't matter. You're too weak right now, Step God. We're gonna go with Spore. Moves are not randomized. I could have made moves randomized, but I didn't. I'm making this a little bit simpler just to see how I am with it. As my first Nuzlocke, complete Nuzlocke that I'm gonna complete. And then we'll start making Nuzlockes crazy after this one, I think. Or different, at least. Let's go, Marie. Get the hell out of here. She's a high level, actually. I think Shedinja is a slow XP leveler. Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, XP share will help, I suppose, but... I'll show you guys the rules and what I used after... I'll set it all up so you guys can see that information for next stream. And I'll release the seed after I beat it, because I don't want people spoiling stuff for me. Let's go, Step Spore. Yeah, he's not even level 8 yet. Mawile. What beats Mawile? What beats Mawile? Yeah, Lucky Eggs could be useful. Fire and Ground. Oh. What a loser. Fire? Oh. Me when exclamation. I'll add a doctor for next time. I swear to Jesus. Okay? What level? Level 16? I only have 2 Pokemon. Level 15? What a loser. Do you even Pokemon, bro? Exactly. So far, the scariest thing was Zapdos and Gyarados. And the frickin' Poliwrath. I mean, that's what's scary about Nuzlocke. I do Pokemon, bro. I'm just not good at it. Let's go. Of course I'm better than you expected. I'm a freaking beast. Oh. You see, now I talked to her twice. Alright, I'm gonna end it there. Save to file. I'll just make sure the save actually saved to the save. It did! Okay, we're gonna go to community games. What community game do you guys want to play? Let's see how many people are watching. I don't know how many people are watching. Oh, we got 5. So if you guys are good for Gartic, we could do Gartic. Psychic is weak to Dark. Hint: it's common phobias. Bugs? Bug beats Psychic. Yeah. I always get confused in my head about them, to be honest. Maybe I should train like that to remember the stuff. But yeah, we're just gonna go here. And we're gonna go here. We're gonna press end session. Gonna close that. Close that. Close that. And boom! We are back. What's up, guys? It's Ping Pong Moosters. We're gonna go to PC. Gonna stop recording. Gonna go to PC game. No, browser big. You see, I even put it as a reminder on my other browser. It says Nuzlocke and Shedinja. Play freaking Subnautica. I don't have Subnautica. If you get God Monkey, which is 100,000 points, you could force me to play it. Jesus, that's loud. I forgot how loud that is. Dark Ghost and Bug. How do you remember that? Wait, did I say dark? What did I say? So bug beats psychic, ghost beats psychic, and dark beats psychic. Get Subnautica? I don't wanna... It looks like a scary game. It doesn't look too exciting. I feel like I would just get scared every second. I don't like games where I get scared every second, you know what I'm saying? Sub-Rahutica L moment. Plus, I'm trying to become a... What is this song? I'm trying to become a Pokemon streamer and YouTuber. And community player person. I can't do everything, you know? I know I'm pretty amazing, but... Yeah, look at that dancing. Let's go. It's immersive. Alright. I want to do words on stream. We haven't done that in a minute. It won't be too long, but yeah, words on stream. Come and join the fun. Do everything. It's my final request. Are you dying soon? Because if you are, then okay. What do you want me to do? Sticky finger. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Oh my god, I put the wrong word. Well, now you can put sticky, Michael. Have you ever played this, Michael? You can't put it. Cortez, you already put a word. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, resident sleeper. Yeah, I got a big peeper. Yeah, this is very icky. Yeah, I got assisted sticky. Yeah. You're prickly when I touch you with my stick. It's sticky when I touch you with... Okay, I'm gonna stop. This is such a, like... Does tick not... I spelled tick wrong. There was a network error. The heck? Oh, now it works. Ooh, ticks works as well. Nice. Ticks. Don't be a prick. Be a tick with the sick of a rickroll lick. If you lick my rickroll dick? Nah, I don't know. I'm trying to rap, but it's really hard and cringe. Sick! COVID makes you sick. It might make you tick. It's kind of icky because it's sticky. Bars. Bars, guys? Bars. Yits. Bits. We're getting those bits. We're gonna... Thank you, Cortez. We're gonna go sit. Kit's cat. Tick tack. Oh! Oh, I don't know what else, but that sounded cool. We can also put song request. I think song request is better. We'll put some song requests so you guys can put music on. Let's do that. Oh my god, I freaking love this song so much. Na, 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 na. If it's too loud, guys, let me know. Also, I'm just gonna take off chat, and I'm gonna move my head. Oh god, or just make it smaller. That looks fine for now, yeah, guys. Let me add song. You could play it yourself, Michael. Iceberg. Ice. Ice is 3 letters. Berg? Berg! Is it loud enough and not too loud? Here, I'll play it for you. Do-do, bleach on the rocks. There you go. It'll play next. How about Bryce? It's not a word. Oh, we need more. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Goodbye. See you next time. Rebuyer. Reeb. Wait, why is the song not playing? Unavailable. Oh. This? Bleach on the Rocks? I thought it was from the anime Bleach. After the song finishes, we'll end stream. Good night, Doctor. It's a guy I heard on TikTok. I like it. It sounds nice. TikToks. There are people who put music on TikTok. We should make a band, Michael. Boiled, nice. I like this. Sounds nice. Can I get a beach on your mom? Yeah, I like the words too. Can I get a beach on your mom? Those aren't the words though. Build? Bile. Bile is a word, no? Bile. Yep. I know my words. Something in the body, right? Oiled, nice. You're oiled up when you watch Ping Pong Masters, yeah? Load. Lobe. Lobeda. Load. Nice! Oldie. That was the last one. How about Boldy? Boldy. Bold! Like Boldy, maybe you're thinking of abide. Come on, Cortez. Come on. Is abide a word? Yeah, I don't know. Apparently not. In this game. Wow, you're so stupid, Cortez. Did RuneScape not teach you? RuneScape actually taught me so many things. About, like, blacksmith and things and stuff. Like mining and stuff. Could help me for a game thing. That probably won't be. Mexican. No. Tex-Mex. What is this? Maine. Mean. Oh. I'm not being mean. I thought it would be Mexico or something. Examine. I'm a genius. I am a genius. I'm just a genius. I'm a genius on the rocks. Exam. Meanie. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm sorry. I love this song. I love so many Japanese songs. Axeman, nice. Oh, yeah, you have played this before. I'm dumb, right? Jenim. Is that you're trying to do denim or something? Anime! How did I not see that? Nazi? That? Now when we go home tonight, go on tonight. It's in English and Japanese. It's so cool, this song. And I gotcha. Sushi night. We beat the level, but Enema. Amen. You misspelled it, and yeah. Or maybe you thought like with AI, like another word. You gotta stay. Hey, I need you, babe. Neem. Axeman. A mine? What does that mine mean again? I don't remember. Come on. Mitch the car. I see some words, but I want to guess the big word. Load. Yeah, that's what I saw. I'm just gonna go with land. I don't see the big word. Oh, I see it. Of course, the second I put land, I see it. I'm not gonna say it though, because I want to get it. Starts with an O. Nice, almond. Oh, never mind. Oldman is not a word. Almond. You've gotta say, Annie J, babe. Mallow. Mont. Lamo. Model. Nice. Modal. Modal. None of these, really? Oh, Nomad. Nice. Dolman. I would never guess that. I don't even... What does that mean? I was thinking Oldman and it was Dolman. That's funny. The rest of the song is... The song's too slow. Ah, na, na, na. I don't remember the words to this, but I like it a lot. Mauled. Mauled? Wait, isn't mauled like molding? Oh, it's mold. Oh, mold. What does dolmen mean, though? Moan. Oh, I should have gone down. Well, I mean, we should have gone down. Well, we did get down. Damn! Oh, you got damn. Nice. Doma? Dola? Loda. Malding is a slang? Oh, what is it slang for? I thought malding is like when you mauled over something. No? I don't know. Oh, I forgot I have a button to skip Spotify songs on my stream deck. I've been improving my setup. Oh, I feel like such a pro sometimes. Not right now, but sometimes. Spoon? What's the big one? Span... Punis? Punis? It's like... Punis, my big punis. No. Excuse me. Poison, nice. Y'all both got it. Na, 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 na. Oh, I could still guess. Snoop. Poos. What? Poos is not a word? That's kind of sad. You and Cortez, y'all are getting it real fast. How about spin? Let's go. We're killing these levels like it's nothing. Well, not really, but... We're not doing bad for 3 people. Soon. Yo, this song is so good to me. I wish I understood what made this song good in my head. And then, like, create music like that, you know? It's just so, like... It's, like, so upbeat. Posy. Hey, we don't say those words here around these parts. Nah, you could say it if you want. Pion. Nice. Nips. Let's go. Nips. I already got it. Yeah. Oh, player is winning. I thought I was winning. Coconut? No way it's coconut. You were locked? Oh. Well, I put it before you put it, just saying. But I guess you could have thought of it before. Mount? Count? Account. Nice. So... M is fake. I wonder if cunt will work. Apparently not. Listen, it's not a curse in Australia. They say it so much over there. I've had some Australian friends in Japan. They say they fling it around like nothing. To count. Is that why I made that face, Cortez? Can't. I already still can't. We can't win this game with just us 3. Yeah. How long does the song take to start? Jesus. Yeah, I tried Mount already. And there's no M's, that's why. Code is a good. Nice. Code is a good. Taco. Now I'm hungry for coats and tacos. Someone better have not eaten the leftover pizzas. I'm gonna eat them. Oh, yeah. Nako? What is this one? Coca. Ah, you got it right after. I mean, nice. Town? Tuna! Nice. You weren't locked for it. Excuse my yawn. It's been a while since I streamed this long. Nah, not really true, but streaming's harder for me now since I spend a lot of the day doing other stuff now. Like trying to get into like graphic design and animation and improving stream quality and stuff. And editing. What is this? Hand? Hand. Mantle is a good guess. Okay, laugh works and nail. Laugh and nail. Oh, M is fake. It doesn't matter, you already got the big word. Very nice. Lint. Lint should work. I don't think we could do it with 3. No, we could do it. What's... Baby... What does thali mean? Meaning? Halt. Halt. Halt is not a word. Thigh. Thigh food? Lathe? Thigh. I could go for some thought. No. Bangkok? What? Will I am. Ooh, baby, get me up. Thin. Something I'm not. Any other words we got here? Ooh, laugh. Hint? Yeah, hint is good. We only need one more word. We should be fine here. Then. Then is the word. I'm a genius. Yeah, I tried halt. Oh, no, I got halt already, yeah. Let's go. You got tall also. Should we stop here or go until we lose? What do you guys want to do? Because if we stop here, we feel good about ourselves. But if we go until we lose, then we get further. Until we lose? Alright. Let's do it. Sorry, Michael, if you decided differently. Equalize? What is this? Equal... I'm just gonna go with pace. I feel like equal should be that. Q might be fake. Palace? Guys, I think the big word is palace. I'm such a nice person. Oh, I'm such a nice person. Lace. Nice. Peace. Peace would work if there was another E. Leap. Pale. Let's go. Na, 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 na. Sweet will I am. Leap. Cape! Nice. Plea. Plea is a word. Let's go. Peel. Peel. Pali? That sounds like someone who has a heavy accent trying to say peel. Plea. Jesus. Kale. Lace. Leap. Clap. Okay. That works. What's up, Nico? Welcome back. I think it's around 1 a.m. at 12:30. 12:30 right now. What time is it in Bangladesh? What time is it by you, Nico? How was your birthday, Nico? Oh my god. Wait, it was your birthday the other day. Oh wait, I added something. I wanna play it right now. Wait, you guys gotta hear this, okay? Wait, why is it not loading? I'm so happy you came back. Oh wow. Oops. Let me do that. Thank you for the raid. Arigatou gozaimasu. I appreciate it. I was about to do the happy birthday song for a happy birthday boy. Wait, where is it? Where is it? I'm so stupid. Now with the raid, we're not gonna lose this level. Aqua, hey, what's up? Wait, let me look for the happy birthday. I'll address chat in a moment. Gomen nasai. Where's I have a happy birthday? Oh, there it is. It's not playing. It's not playing. I'm a failure. I'll figure it out later. My pleasure. Awesome. What were you playing? Is it some election day in California? I don't think so. I don't think it's an election day. 10:31 a.m. Damn. Actually, it might be election day in California. I'm not sure. Good old words on stream. Yes for governor. Oh, there you go. Yep, words on stream is great. Cool. I'm guessing Aqua suggested me. Let me just. Like to do this. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Nico. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, I've mastered that. Yeah, you're welcome. I don't think anyone saw the shout out, but any friend of Aqua is a friend of mine. I'm making gameplay of Black Ops 2. Awesome. Then we'll do this also. Thank you for the raid. KB Smith writes. So that's just you know, I gotta do that. Wait. KB Smith. You're the guy who writes, right? I've seen you before. I was playing I don't see your profile picture. That's why I didn't realize at the time. I was playing Breath of the Wild when you popped in for a bit. And then Aqua was telling me a bit about you. That's pretty cool. All the stuff you do. Just popped into my head. You gonna go eat? Alright, see you, Michael. Thanks for popping in. Love seeing you around, bro. Okay. We're gonna end stream soon, but I guess now we can't. By the way, you guys could put music if you'd like. I haven't played this game in a while. I feel so rusty. Jesus. Lynch? もうさなくて少し酸っぱくて誰かったりさとりあえず今日は I'll give a few seconds if anyone wants to put music, but I know this game is very press the next button, so we'll go into the next round for now. Oh, it's already 5 letters. I did play Black Ops 2 when it came out, yeah. How are you liking it, Nico? I haven't played in a while, though. By the way, Nick got Ravine, most likely. Yeah. Music? Okay, I'll play some music instead. Yeah, put some music on. You could hear it fine, right? Cortez got Vayner. We got Vayner and Ravine. Well, Vayner's... Wait. Ravine. It uses the same letters. I'm stupid. How about Raven? Okay, Raven works. So there's an N. Oh. It still uses the same letters. Nice, Aqua. Vinegar. Vinegar is the big one. 5 letters. Why'd I put rage? Thanks for the bits, bro. I got those islands. Nice music request. he could put a free song, but he decides to do that. Oh, you finished mission 2 yesterday? How'd you like it? Does that count as getting what's the word? We're just gonna play it? Does he say that in the song? I do my own music requests. IKB48, nice. Rickrolled, yeah, Rickrolled. Does that count as getting Rickrolled? No, we just lost the game. I'm an idiot, sorry. You distracted us, player. Michael. It's too late to put vegan. We'll go for one more round. Then I'm gonna call it a night. We're doing a Pokemon Nuzlocke earlier, if anyone's interested in that. Pretty much this channel, from now on, Pokemon Nuzlocks and community games. Community games has always been a staple, but yeah. Oh, I stole my pair. Stole my pair. What's good here? Perm, nice. Mrs. Tough Mom. Damn, that sounds like I don't want to get in the way of Mrs. Tough Mom. I feel bad. I'm making this round of rounds the last one because of the raid people and because Aqua put some music, so don't want to ruin her music. Perfume. Damn it. I mean, nice. Oh god. Oh, 69, so funny. So funny. Thank you for the bits. But why? Why do you do this? You're ruining Aqua's music. She's gonna get really mad at you. Is he saying it faster? Or is it just 696969? Bro, how long is this? Bro, I'm just gonna silence the thing. I feel bad because you're paying money. But, bro, you should just spam it. Oh. This song sounds nice though. This does sound nice, this song. That's the last one? Okay, fine. I'll let it go, because I'm a nice person. And because you paid bits, so I would feel bad if I paused it. But if people complain that it's too annoying, then, you know, I listen to the people. I'm like a politician. Or what a politician is supposedly. Hey, long time no see. Good evening. Shut up and take my money. Fair enough. Arigatou gozaimasu. 6'9". 6'9". It's in my ears. How you doing, Thomas? Tomas. Michelle. It's been so long. I forgot for a second. And yeah, so people say they're annoyed, then yeah, that's fine. Yep. Why is it ein? 6'ein, not 6'9". It's literally gonna go on for like half an hour. How you doing, Michelle? How about if you re-nut? It's like when you want to re-nut someone. I don't know if that means something. Oh my god, the 6'9s haven't even finished. Wait, what? What did you say? Oh my god, I was doing the numbers. I forgot it does that. The song sounds nice. Would have sounded better if someone didn't ruin it, but yeah, it sounds pretty cool, I suppose. We got Canes, we got 6'9". 6'9". Nade. Kane. Jesus, the 69s are not done yet? We're not even at 420. I have to make... I have to bump up the bit requirement for TTS, I guess, or something. There you go. Halo theme song. Not a bad choice. Surprise Cortez didn't put it. Advanced. Nice. Nice job, Uvolemic. And welcome. Well, you know. Welcome. Loser. That literally lasted the whole song. That lasted like... This is lasting like 5 minutes. Jesus. Can't you just lower the character count? I don't think so. Lower character counts. Bits, TTS. I could change the amount for TTS to occur. I'll have to look into lowering character count. I know I could for the other TTS, but... What is this song? We're still on the 69s? Jesus. Acne, nice. It sounds like kind of part of the song now, so it's cool. I'm just revealing future problems for when you blow up. True! To be honest, like no joke, people who blow up out of nowhere and become huge streamers or YouTubers, they have a lot to deal with, like, that when you grow gradually, you'll learn over time. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I've changed that if I blew up right away, it wouldn't have been good. Ralts. I've been playing too much Pokemon. Alter. Nice. What is this song? It's like a scary song. Jesus. Bits donation, TTS long messages have a new character limit. All day in chat, people have been donating long messages that are being cut off about halfway. Oh, mine aren't being cut off. 420s. That lasted like 5 minutes, the last one. The old voices use different service than the new voices. If it detects repeated characters, it cuts off the message. It doesn't cut off this message. I'll have to look into that. Oh, this is the old system? I'll have to look into it more. Oh, you're ruining a song that sounds so beautiful right now. We need one more word. This actually sounds so beautiful. I think it's taking so long because now it's saying 600 million and 600,000 type stuff. Yeah. G is the fake. Gotcha. Yeah, it's good to look at the biggest word to figure out the fake. You ended the song request list? No, I didn't. I didn't end it. I can't control it. I'm an agent of chaos. No, I hear this Symmetry by Dave Hewson. It sounds beautiful. Alert? And then a song request list. Oh, it's still there. This sounds so beautiful and it's just ruined. You're ruining it. I think... yeah, there you go. I'm actually gonna add this song on my Spotify because it sounds beautiful. Symmetry, Dave Hewson. Fatu-O. Are you calling me fat? Dave Hewson. No. Oh, it's not on Kaj Siege. Oh, nice song. I can't find it on I'm sorry it's getting ruined. I can't find it on Spotify. That's a shame. I'll add it on Yahoo? YouTube, I guess. Oh yeah, if it's above like 8 minutes or something, it's cut off. You see, I learned that to change, because some people would song request 10-hour songs. So I learned little by little, Michael. Little by little. What song did you want to add, and how long is it? Sexpotentialian, nice. Veined, nice. Since vein is a word. I'll just show you my marimba duet. I'll click on it. That's not you. What are you talking about, mine? That's not you. That's not you at all. What are you talking about, bruh? No, not me, but the one I play. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Oh, it's 8 minutes. Actually, I'll add it after this. Or not add it. I'll change the restrictions after your 420, 420, 420 ends. I'll add it. I love it. It sounds so cool. I hope someone gives 100 bits, donates 100 bits, or does TTS. Oh, finally. To ruin your song. I'm really sorry, Kaj Sij. That was a beautiful song. That was honestly beautiful. You can cut off the TTS. It's too late. It's done. I'm just gonna increase it to 9 minutes for now. There we go. Oh, it wasn't requested, but that was the author of the person. I'm so stupid. Whatever. I told you can cut off earlier, but I think you missed it. Yeah, I must have missed it then. Well, you got your money's worth. Try S's maybe. Oh, nice. Toilet. Toilets are always nice. I freaking love this. Bro, I grew up with Halo 1 and Halo 2. Why is it only 24 points? Jesus. That's so weird. The song when you're escaping on the Warthog? Yes. I don't remember much, to be honest, of the... I just remember playing the campaign a lot with my dad. My dad never really plays games with me, so that's like a nice memory in my head. And then with my cousin also. I have a playlist on Spotify specifically for song tracks I like. Yeah, that's fair. Soundtracks, yeah. That makes sense. A lot of game and a lot of game audio, music, game music, and movie music, and it's just so beautiful. Like, oh, Hans Zimmer. Yes, Hans Zimmer is that's who I think of when I think of composers for like movies and stuff. The one with Superman, that's a good song. I forgot what it's called. Tilt, that was the last one. Nice. Yeah, he's a great composer. And then he had the Inception. He did Inception too, right? He did a lot of different ones. I just have it playing when I'm just working, and it's so good. Dark Knight, Inception, Interstellar, yeah. It's a lot of slow music, but I learned one of them on my chart. That's the 5 letters already. I learned one of them on my on piano, but I already forgot it. Inception is my favorite. Yeah, Inception is great. Welcome back, by the way. Oh, a song on Modern Warfare 2. Ooh, yes! The first time I saw that Hans Zimmer did that, because I was looking at his songs on Spotify, I was like, damn, I have that added. The one from Modern Warfare 2, I think. Train. What else is with Train? Train. Train. Heart. Kane. Some of the songs I have is Tron. Pacific. Inception. Yeah, Inception music is great. Pacific Rim, Inception, The Amazing Spider-Man. Oh, he did Amazing Spider-Man too? Like as well? I didn't know that. Rhino? What is this? Ooh, this sounds beautiful. What is this? Oh, Lindsay Sterling. I remember learning about her from Aqua. And Aqua Putter. Yeah. She's pretty amazing. Oh my god. Charity would be a good one. Charity would be an amazing one, actually. What's the missing letter? F. A U. Turnip or turn? Turnt? I don't even know. Curtain. Nice. Nice. Well, thanks for joining, guys and girls. We're gonna end here. If you wanna check me out in the future, basically we do Nuzlocks and community games like Words on Stream. Good night, y'all. Sorry in the middle of the song, but the song is beautiful. Lindsay Sterling, check her out if anyone's curious. And yeah, we're just gonna end it there. I just wanted to put this. Thank you for out my YouTube channel.